What's the first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have Hughley as a sponsor of today's video. Hughley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with a SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today.
Maintaining your beard isn't just style, it's self-respect. A well-groomed beard boosts confidence and leaves a lasting impression. Elevate your look. Embrace the importance of beard care today. Full time. What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the group. We got Mr. Shannon Ross. We also have Trev Smooth and Whites, Darwin, Brent Hink, and myself, Lapeef J.I. Welcome to King Talk. What's going on, Jim? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
How y'all doing, man? Y'all sound dry.
Good.
I heard you.
Chilling, Joe. Super duper chilling.
Okay. It's good to see you guys, man. Happy Tuesday. Feel good to be here amongst the kings as usual. Got a little housekeeping to get out the way, and then we're going to go ahead and get this show started. Shout out to the sponsor, Hughley, Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 40% off along with a free gift. That's right. You guys get 40% off along with a free gift. And if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. We also taking care of your beard care needs. This is your assured man king on top. This is a Lapeef and Sugar Curl collab. Excellent product. I use it day and night. I do have a routine that I do. I suggest you get yours. If your beard is patchy, not connecting, your woman complaining that it's not soft, you're looking for a birthday gift. Father's Day is every day for me, but if you're looking for a Father's Day gift, Christmas is right around the corner. Why not take care of their beards? So click that link that's pinned in the description. Also click the link that is pinned to the top of the chat. Hit the like button. Also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's make sure you mute up. I don't know who that is. Make sure you mute up in between.
On that assured man, JR.
Go ahead.
Have you ever had any clinical trials where, for example, you cut your beard all the way bald to test it out and see if it actually works? Because I think whenever you came out with this product, you was already like full. You got like any images or references that we can see on the site that shows the before and after or something like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get it.
I was thinking about trying. I mean, I do got some patches over here on my right side.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it right now because I'm in the dark, but like if I try to grow it out, it's clear a patch before you get to my sideburn, right up under my chin. So
okay,
I see Trev Smooth trying to smirk.
Okay, well then, why don't you come to the light so we can see how bad it is?
Nah, see, one thing you ain't gonna
Why y'all trying to bring me into it, man?
I'm just trying to see. I mean,
It's because you got an immaculate beard, so you got to catch some smoke from the beardless.
I just want to see the results. Like I know once you use it, is it like 30 days your beard is full, or it's like 120 days? Like what?
Well, there's some other factors too. You know, your diet, sleeping, how much
Eating some
processed
coochie.
food. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, Mr. Darwin, but there's a lot of different factors that play into it. But if you're looking to make sure that you maintain it, then this is the way that you want to go. I'm not going to promise you any miracles, but anytime you take care of your body, your hair, your mind, your spirit, anytime you maintain and take care of that, then you can see some positive results. So if you go ahead and get it, I suggest get the whole kit. Then that way you won't be left out. That way you cover all ends of it. You good? Any more questions? Okay, I just want to make sure. All right. What's going on, Christopher Matthews, John O, Angela Swift. We got Erica in the house, Humble King, Dale Matthews. What's going on, everybody, man? Appreciate you guys in attendance. Again, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and share the stream. We're going to go ahead and get this started. Start off with the main topic, and then I got some other topics on the back end. But Janet Jackson is in the news. She says that Kamala Harris isn't black. So she had an interview that she did with The Guardian, and these are some of the comments that she brought up. Well, you know what they say, supposedly said, she's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. She also said her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. We all know about Miss Kamala Harris. She's been in question about her race and her true blackness. If a black card should be revoked, I know we had some heated discussions on here, some passionate discussions from some of the people that's on the panel that was looking to expose the truth when it comes to her background and what she's preaching. Internet went into an uproar. There's a lot of conversations surrounding this topic. So I do want to get you guys just immediate thoughts about what Miss Janet Jackson said. How do you feel? You think she had a right? There's some truth into it. Let's go around. I'm gonna start with you, Marcus. I know you sent me some things, man. You Twitter, man. You know, some of the stuff on Twitter we can't talk about on here. It be getting a little rough over there, man. They be canceling you here on YouTube. You bring some of that stuff up. But what are your immediate thoughts, Mr. White? You're on mute, just so you know.
Yeah, my immediate thoughts are, I seen an interesting video where Michael Jackson was being accused of something that he probably did not do. I don't think he did. And Donald Trump spoke up for him and was saying he had him around his kids, that he's absolutely not a PDF file, and pretty much holding him down. But I was like, damn, Donald Trump been messing with Mike since back then. That's crazy. But what really surprised me was who was on the news trying to prosecute him. None other than Kamala Harris. I said, oh, the fix been in. She been trying to send shots at black man since black man was black man.
Why?
No, she ain't no black woman. And Janet 100% right. That's why she fired dude who tried to say he tried to issue a statement on her behalf, and she told him, no, you sit your little $5 ass down. I said what I said. She not black. I mean it. And get the fuck on. You fired. Ironically, the person who did the interview and the dude who issued the statement look eerily similar to each other, and neither one of them is black. So how is those two people gonna tell a black American woman who black and who not? Get the fuck out of here. That's what I think.
All right. It's like you passionate and white. Go ahead, Mr. Darwin. What are your thoughts about it, sir?
Man, it just really seemed childish, and I think it really takes away from the most important part of the election process. I mean, do you really got to be black to tell if somebody else is black? Can you be white and tell that somebody else is not black? Or do your skin got to match somebody else's to tell? Like, I don't have to be a crackhead to tell that somebody else is a crackhead. and not trying to associate black with
What?
that. I'm just saying, like, for me to have something to say doesn't mean that I got to be part of that race. I just got to be able to put two and two together. So,
What two and two together would you be putting to label somebody black? What's your criteria?
I mean, my criteria, it's the same criteria as anybody else's. I mean, I think that most people who say that you're black is probably talking about African descendants of slaves, people who were brought over here in bondage from Africa during the slave trade. And those people who are labeled black are the people that come from those ancestors. That's what I would think. But then you got some people that would argue black is what makes you black is being part of a culture. I got mixed opinions about that. I'm not really bought into that because I haven't really did enough deep dive on research to see the validation in that kind of thinking. But what puzzles me is, I mean, whether the person is black or whatever, when has that been like a motivating factor in the election process? You know what I'm saying?
Obama?
They said Obama wasn't even black. I mean, like it just seems like now that there's some pigmentation in the lineup to elect, now that's becoming the pillar of the election process. You know, fuck the policies, fuck what they can do. I mean, if they skin tone is closer to mine, then I'm all in. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, is that kind of like shady?
I
Is
got a
that
question.
kind of like deviating from the main point?
I got a question for you, Darwin. What defines black identity, and who gets to decide?
What defines black identity?
Yes, and who gets to decide?
Me personally, I would say black is a color. It's a color. It's to me, my opinion is just your color, your skin. Who gets to decide? The person that's over everybody, the superior, the person that determines your call sign on the radio. When they call your ass out, black male, you black. You might not even be African descendant of slave, but your skin tone is black. So they're gonna say what? Black male. I got a black male doing a 90 and a 45. Let's get this black motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't make the rules. I don't. But that's the law of the land. You want to change that, then you got to become the superior of the land. I don't make the rules. I don't like it. But I understand how the game is. To answer your question, JR.
Okay. Trey, I'm gonna go to you. You got a question in white?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Darwin, do he know what ethnocide is?
Say that again.
You know what ethnocide is?
Ethnocide? I don't, but just putting two words together, ethnic and side, I'm thinking pesticide or some shit. Like getting rid of the motherfucking black people or some shit like that. Is that close to it?
It's not relegated to black.
Like genocide and ethnicity or some shit like that?
So ethnocide is the extermination or destruction of ethnic identities. It's different than genocide, but it requires the cleansing or the removal.
So I was close.
Yeah, roundabout, yeah.
Smart motherfucker, dude.
So I ask you this question: What would you after the reclassification from Indian to Negro? What was the next classification the Negro went under? Do you know?
You said after the reclassification from Indian to Negro.
Yeah.
You say that as if that was an event that took place in history.
It did.
It did.
Yeah.
Was it 1940? Who was the improving authority?
The U.S. government.
And there you're making my point. So your next question is, what's the next reclassification?
Mm-hmm. After we went from Negro, what was the next thing?
I don't know. I don't even know if that the second event took place, but
Okay,
I
I'll
would
provide you
assume.
first.
Yeah, I'm kind of dumb on this part. You're gonna have to school me on this one.
Okay. I'm gonna put it up for you.
All right. Mr. Trev Smooth, I'm gonna go to you, sir. I do have a question for you, and then we'll give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna ask a question. My bad.
Yeah. How does the perception of blackness differ within the black community?
From, or you mean just like within us?
Yeah.
As ourselves? I mean,
How does the
so you,
perception of blackness differ within the black community?
okay. Well, for some people, all right. So like Marcus, he's serious about it, right? He's definitely passionate about um what's going on with that, right? As far as like people trying to whether you out here false flagging or people that are working against black people, everything. And I understand it. For some other people, it's more of, all right, well, can't we all just get along? That's another one. And it's almost impossible for people with different ideologies to get them to be on the same page. Me personally, I do think a little bit differently. To be honest, I kind of wish this shit didn't even exist. Like, just because it's like we have these factions, and then there's just more factions. We find so many damn ways to hate each other and to discriminate against each other, and to me have this tribe versus that tribe, and it's tough as hell when we already are looked at in a certain way from cultures that are not black. But then if we have infighting, right? Like if we find other ways to find different factions, whether it be like, oh, light skin, or you acting real light skin right now, or you ate us, and that type of shit. It's tough. I understand why people do want their identity, but I don't think that it's as productive as it could be when we could be working together, because a lot of times when the outside culture see us, we also a bunch of niggas. So it's when I see that, it's like, okay, we kind of need to really lock in on our own first, right? Because I don't see how it's going to get us anywhere when we are very separate. Like if we all decided that we were going to get together and look for common goals, and what do we really want? We want economic power, right? We want our children to have safe neighborhoods, schools. We all do want the same type of things. So why is it that we can't collectively come together? Because when it all comes down to it, nobody from the outside is fucking with us. That's just what it is. They're not going to. So, I mean, there's to a certain level, but when it comes to the advancement of us, it's not many people that's fucking with us. It's not a lot of people in power that's doing it. It's going to end up being something that we're going to have to work towards collectively. And everybody with that melanin is going to have to get together and work towards a greater good. I did kind of want to touch on the original subject matter. I'm not really into identity politics. I know Darwin definitely touched on it. I hate it. I don't like either candidate as far as the identities are concerned. I don't like either one of their personalities. At this point, I'm holding my nose, pulling the lever, but it's all behind policy. If you put a mannequin over there, it wouldn't matter to me. If they had the same policies as what Trump has right now, I'm pulling the lever. I don't care what individual you put in there. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's man or woman. I don't care what their sexuality is. I don't even care if you put a bear. You know how women would choose the bear? I would choose a bear over either one of those candidates. If they're going to be in charge of those policies and say, look, this is what's going to happen here, this is what's going to happen here, it's what I believe is going to happen best for my family and myself. And that's all I care about. But I hate both of the individuals, to be honest. Both of them. They both suck as people. That's just being honest. Like, I would have absolutely hoped that somebody else with who just knew how to conduct themselves as a better human. You know how many smart individuals there are on this planet that could have did a better job than either one of those fools? Like, it disgusts me that they are writing policies for things they don't know about. Like, we have some people who are such better, well-rounded individuals that know so much about so many things, and these people just don't know anything. Like, they don't know about gun calibers, and you're writing gun laws. You don't know about the elements, and you're writing laws about climate change, and you don't even know shit about it. You just going by what people tell you. You don't really know. You don't really study, and you act like you're passionate about it, but you don't really care. You just a talking head. I'm gonna keep going. I don't want to take up the whole segment, but that's where I'm at with it.
All right, appreciate that, Trev. DL Hughley did come out and speak. He actually slammed her for his comments, and this is what he had to say. Janet Jackson's interview sounded like a Trump rally, FYI. It's a little ironic to question whether someone is black while you're breathing through the nose of a white woman. Team DL. He also said, all I know is Kamala looks like she did when she was in Oakland, but Janet don't look like she did when she was Penny. What the hell was in that iron? He also said Kamala Harris looks the way she does because she has a mom from India and a dad from Jamaica. Janet Jackson looks the way she does because she has a plastic surgeon. Team DL.
Speaking of unfunny jokes, I got an unfunny joke. What do you call a man who don't protect his daughter from an abuser, and after his child dies, he's relieved? Bot DL Hughley, goof ass nigga.
Damn. All right, go ahead, Brother Hank.
What's your question there, man? Because
I didn't have an immediate question for you, but I just got through going over what DL Hughley had to say about Janet Jackson's comments about Kamala Harris not being black. So just your reaction for right now.
I think DL probably wouldn't have felt this way if Kamala wasn't running against Donald Trump. He probably took it as a joke and kept it moving. I think the reason why he's feeling that way because she is running against Donald Trump, and he sounds like, and now it seems like for a long time he has something against Donald Trump, but it is what it is. Now I don't think she's black. I mean, she is what she is, but if she's trying to claim that, I never heard her claim that. I always heard us as a people put that jacket on her. It's not something she said, I'm a black woman. No, even though she was in a black fraternity, look, they got white boys in in black fraternities. That's not uncommon. So she's a non-black woman in a sorority. Hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I never heard her say she was black or claim to be black. It's just something that we put on her. Like I always say, we throw out the white flag for every goddamn body. Everybody's welcome in the black community when it comes to black people. I don't know why we so forgiving and always welcoming everybody, take everybody's cast offs and bullshit, but we do that. I just think she's another one of these cast offs that we so happen to adopt as one of us, but at the same time, she's not willing to be one of us. She's not one of us. She won't do shit for us, but we still claim her crazy ass.
Got a question for you, Brother Hink. Is DL Hughley reaction more about protecting the black image or pushing a specific political narrative?
Yeah, it's not protecting the black image. I think he's just trying to put his political narrative. He's pro-Democrat, and that's cool. I understand. But, to take shots at the woman like that, I thought that was totally classless. But again, we know why he's doing it, because he's against Trump, and so anytime he can take a shot at Trump, that's what he's gonna do.
Is it safe to assume that everybody or whoever is actually black, whoever is actually African descendant of slave, get elected? Is it safe to assume that black people are 100% sold that that person, that political official, is going to bring reparations? Because what I'm thinking is, if black people actually get a black official to be president, political figure to be president, then they're 100% confident that reparations is going to be a thing of the past after they get into office. I think that's the whole catalyst for, oh, we need a black president, or it's good to have a black person in office. Reparations argument. I mean, and if it wasn't for that, like, I would argue that if we'd had reparations 20 years ago, nobody would give a fuck if it was a black person getting in office. Oh, okay. We got reparations back in 1990. Who gives a fuck? They probably say, well, hell no, don't put that nigga in office. He's gonna fuck some shit up. But because he's black and we haven't got reparations yet, we need that motherfucker. We need a black person in office. I mean, anybody getting that same music note, or it's just me? I rest my case.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I'll say that. It's not far-fetched.
I was giving somebody else a chance to speak because I got an answer for you, Don, but I'm not trying to overtalk too much.
Go ahead, M. White.
All right. Well, so the reason why that people push the we need a black president thing is because the narrative that's being spun is these people came from slavery and the injustices of America into full equal treatment of the law. And look, they've excelled to the highest level of political appointment and being the president of the United States. So America is now racist. And it paints a narrative. The only problem with that is the people that endured all those things are not actually at the levels of political office that people claiming the moniker of the people who have endured that are. So it paints a false dichotomy between the past transgressions of America and its repentance by election of black American officials, which are technically not black American officials. So what it does is allow someone who does not have that actual specific history to attach themselves to it and ride on the coattails of racial justice. So it's like stealing valor in military terms.
So would I be wrong to assume that if, let's say that, for example, it do happen, Mark, let's say we do get a black ADOS political figure to be president, and that excuse my language, I'm not trying to trigger nobody, that motherfucker get in office and we don't get reparations, wouldn't you be flabbergasted? Wouldn't you be utterly disappointed? You mean to tell me we had an ADOS in there for 4 years and we still ain't get it? Y'all are questioning that motherfucker blackness. Y'all are pulling this black card. We had a nigga in office and that nigga still ain't get it. Be honest, M. White. So I think it's a fear. Like, imagine, like, that's my fear. I want us to get reparations. I want it to happen. But my fear is if we do get ADOS in there and it don't happen, then what now? Like, what do we turn to now? Like, we done had it. We done had the motherfucker come to the top of the pinnacle to get shit done. And we still able to get, like, what are we going to do now? Are we going to really, like, finally be like, yeah, you know what? This just ain't our country. And it is what it is. This ain't our country. This is white America still. We here. We got to get it how we get it, or we got to get the fuck on. Like, I think that's going to be, if that happens, that's what it's going to be. It come down to. If we actually get an ADOS representative in there and the president, and they still don't get the things that black people really want done, then we'll be like, okay, I get it now. It just ain't our country. We built this motherfucker, but it just ain't ours. And we either got to fucking accept it or move on to a different country that's gonna love us.
This our country. We've been here since the beginning, before this motherfucker was founded.
I'm with you.
We're gonna
I'm
fight.
100%
We're
with you.
gonna fight with their ass before
We just gonna keep fighting, right?
Yeah, we're gonna keep fighting. We always been fighting. We'll keep fighting. I don't think where we gonna go, Darwin. This our country. Like say they was to deport us. Where they gonna deport us to?
We can't.
Another
I'm
portion
with
of
you on
America.
that.
Fuck
I'm
out
with
of here.
you.
Like this
100%.
out.
All right, go ahead, Brent. Got on this, brother.
What's the question?
I didn't have a specific question. I mean, I can ask you a question, but I was just trying to get your reactions about what's been going on as far as with D.L. Hughley and Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, we already know she a classy, outstanding black woman, great performer, actress, and she's standing on business. They try to twist her arm to get her to somebody in her camp to say that she apologized and say that, and she real confirmed that she's standing on what she said. Kamala, she did it to herself. She started off with that black wave, cooking collard greens and washing collard greens in the tub. No, no black people does that. That's not a black culture. Only thing we wash in the tub is our behinds. And only thing she ever did for the black community is lock us up. We got she passed that bill as far as and what's that?
Truancy.
Seattle.
Yeah, the truancy law.
Truancy law. You miss 20 days of school and they locking black parents up.
Sheree Peoples is one of the most avid spokesmen for it because her daughter had a sickle cell anemia, was in the hospital, locked up while she was in the hospital.
Exactly. Then what really made her, a lot of people guessed blackness when she said with an emphasis. No, I'm not doing anything specifically for black people. And we like, but you black. You don't got no policy for black people. We don't have to give us some reparations. You could give us some policies. You could pass a hate crime bill. People get hanged. People get hanged in North Carolina, saying that they suicidal. And this is not the first incident of a black truck driver getting hanged. Police brutality, police death by homicide, all that. And she don't have nothing. She don't have nothing for us. But the only thing we could relate to Trump is that who was in a better condition with Trump's. You know, so that's how I feel about it.
I got a question for you. Is there a law that prevents a political figure to be elected in office and actually do something for a particular race as far as economically or whatever? Like let's say, for example, I'm China man or Chinese or whatever, and I get elected as the U.S. president. Say, hey, look, you know what? I'm a fuck it. Everybody who's Chinese don't got to pay taxes for the fourth quarter of each year. Is there any law preventing me from doing that?
I don't believe so. But she did get passed a law for the Chinese for the COVID act because they were stepping anti-hate.
So we all know that we all know that this woman Kamala Harris can actually do something for black people if she decided. There ain't no law preventing her to do it. But as you said, she went on a record stating that she was brown. I mean, stating that she is not going to do anything for specifically black people. Why in the hell is black people jumping on her coochie lips so bad?
What?
I just don't get it. Like, I think D.L. Hughley is on her coochie lips right now or something. She cut him a check or some shit. I think she cut him a check, and now his podcast has got a consistent editor for his videos.
Yes, Daddy.
Or something he was missing is fucking up his SEO or whatever. And D.L. Hughley, you can come after me. I'm just a little guy, man. I got nothing.
You can say what you want about me. Fuck D.L. Hughley. Hey, and you know what else? They didn't even pay the Look, this the funniest thing. These goofy ass people that's running to her aid, talking about black this, black that. So they had an ad spend budget, right? And now they online complaining that they not getting their fair share of it because it's going to white ad managers. So even with the people who say she black and go do something for black people, she not even doing right by them before the election. And they mad right now complaining. The NAACP talking about, man, well, why are we not getting our fair share of the ad budget? Yo, goofy ass, go sit down and ask yourself that question.
All right, let me go ahead and get Shan then. What's going on, brother? What are your thoughts about this, man?
Mic check 1 2. I had to do a different setup. Hope you guys can hear me. Oh man, let's see, a couple things. Well, first, Darwin, remember presidents don't pass laws. I know you was asking about, can a president come in and do something specifically? Well, you know, they do have executive order power, and a president does have the ability through their executive orders to execute certain protections for particular protected classes. You know, and so that's why they do things for the alphabet community. You'll see, I remember a couple of years ago when Asians were being attacked randomly, the president did swiftly came in and did something for that protected class. And Black Americans are a protected class. We are. Just that nobody does anything for us using their executive order. With that swift pen, power of the pen, nobody's ever felt the need for protecting us particularly. We're just considered Americans when it comes to that kind of stuff, even though congressionally speaking, we are a protected class. So they can't pass laws, but they can make an executive order, and then which can kick in something. This is what, you know, Abraham Lincoln did to protect us if necessary. It just doesn't happen, man. It just doesn't happen. And that's one of the arguments that a lot of people have.
Isn't there a workaround to that?
There's no workaround necessary. You just got to find somebody that wants to do it.
For example, let's say you're the president,
Mhm.
and I am a policy approval authority. I'm sorry. I'm on a committee that enforces policies or draft policies to send to your desk to get signed off.
It doesn't work like that, but I think,
I think
know
there's some level somewhere below you as the president. I'm the level below you that actually brings you the documents that, hey, look, we need this to be put into policy.
Well, that's Congress, then the House of Representatives. Then it comes to you. You have the veto power. You could be like, nope, I'm not signing it, and it just falls dead.
Right.
You can push it
so
through.
what I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
is, if you know, let's say me and you, we fucking go out and get ice cream or coffee or some shit. Hey, look, man, I got some people that's under me that's selling some forms up that they want some changes and shit. I'm just letting you know, next month it's gonna be your desk whether you want to sign it.
Oh, now you're talking about lobbyists. So
That's
you're a
what I'm
lobbyist.
So what I'm saying is, there's a workaround to you actually making orders that come into policy in effect. You can have a conversation with me and be like, hey, look, why don't y'all change this shit right here? Because I don't really like this. Add this because this really gonna benefit my people or benefit some shit that I got going on over there in Nevada or some shit. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
cool. We gonna send
So
this up then.
You're
So that's
speaking like
what I'm saying. The workaround is nobody
As-
knows that kind of part of the conversation is left out.
what we
policy
do. We do. That means so then we speak on. Let's talk about the Congressional Black Caucus. So we've had them forever, and the Congressional Black Caucus is supposed to do what you just said. The argument is, where's our Congressional Black Caucus? Are they just sitting around twiddling thumbs? You know, where when it comes to other protected classes, as we'll say, you know, whether it's APAC or, you know, for them, or whether it's the alphabet community for them or whoever it is, they seem to get shit done and do things that's necessary for the people that they represent. When it comes to us, we just be like, and one of the issues is the people that they represent don't put no pressure on them. Like, we not tripping. All we care about is Diddy. You know, all we care about is going to concerts, basketball, and when the NFL is back in season. You know, that kind of stuff. So we're not serious as a community, because this is the argument on, do we have a community? Back to what we had a while back. We don't come together because we don't have a common goal as a people. We got all these broken factions, and because we're all divided and separated, we can't come together to use our power politically, economically, however you want to say, to get shit done because we're fragmented. And so, like, for instance, what you're saying is somebody that's talking and says, hey man, we need to do such and such for these brothers and sisters, or we need to do something for our people. When you look at the Congressional Black Caucus, you say, well, what are you guys doing over there? In the meetings that you guys convene every month, what are y'all doing? Nothing.
And I'm
So
glad you
what if-
made that. I'm glad you made that point, because you and I served in the armed forces, and we know that Colonel sign off of it. You just got to bring it to him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, y'all want some shit done? Put it on my desk and I'll check over it.
Yeah. Now imagine black people not having anybody to take it to the desk. Even though we supposed to have somebody up there that does it for us, we don't have nobody to do that for it. We don't have there's no black lobbyists. Anyways, so there's that. Trev had said something. Oh, Trev was talking about presidents knowing everything. He was talking about things like climate change. You know, Trev, I don't expect my president to know everything. And I don't know everything. What I expect, though, from a president is, or any kind of leader, is resourcefulness. Like with JR, with the Lapeef Network, JR doesn't have to know everything, but JR needs to be resourceful to make sure that this network runs smoothly. I expect you, Trev, to not know everything, but if you have a business, if you're an entrepreneur, you got something going on, or whatever you even do in your job, I expect you to be resourceful. And that's what I want our president to be. I always felt that way after I read the book, Think and Grow Rich, because Henry Ford, he believed that you didn't need to know everything way back in the day when he was put into a libel suit, because they were making it seem like he was an idiot and he was a dummy. And so he went on the witness stand, and somebody asked him some pedantic question, and he responded, why should I bother knowing that what my associate does? Why should I clutter my mind with general knowledge when I could surround myself with a bunch of people with that specialized knowledge who will give me the answer on demand? And so from a presidential standpoint, I don't need the president to know about climate change. I mean, I get it. What's our man that ran for president? He was the vice president, and he did
Rand Paul? No, not Rand Paul.
Uncomfortable Truth documentary. I forget, on climate change. Al Gore. Thank you. You know, he knows about climate change, but I don't necessarily need Obama or Trump or even or Biden or any president to know the important things. The way it seemed like you laid it out, Trev, about a particular thing, but I do expect my president to be able to surround themselves with the experts that do know, so they can advise them the best way they can. Which leads me. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Okay. Which leads me to JR's original question about Janet Jackson. Shout out to Janet Jackson. I'm with Marcus with this one. And the thing is, for those that say, man, you know, I think it was Darwin that had said, you know, why are we tripping on this color? We can't listen, color matters not. Her color does not matter. It should not matter. But why does that seem to be the topic? And that's because integrity matters. And I don't mean the standard politician lie matter. I mean, hell, Trump is a huge liar politically, but so is she. They all lie. Politicians lie. That's why I don't like none of them. You know, both blue or red, Democrat, Republican, all of them lie, man. They all are liars. But when it gets down to the pandering part, when you get to shucking and jive and you start using cultural appropriation to get ahead, that's where a lot of people have a problem. And that's why it's such a big topic with this whole race thing with her, because it's almost like, what would you brothers rather have, beautiful lies or ugly truth when it comes to somebody's identity? And if you got somebody who's going to give you beautiful lies and smile in your face and say, hey, brother, I'm in these streets and talking all this, they giving you the jive talking. And then they go over to another one and then they all of a sudden I'm not even gonna act like I'm them, but start being like them. And then they go over here and start being like, it's like, oh, so you're gonna play like everybody as long as you in their face. This is one of the issues that Hillary Clinton had with the hot sauce when she went on the Breakfast Club. And they say, well, wait, how can you stand somebody like Trump? Trump is like, look, I'm an asshole to all of y'all. I ain't trying to be like none of y'all. And you don't like what I say, but it's the truth. What would you rather have? Somebody that's in your face telling you a beautiful... Remember, they all lie politically. All of them ain't shit. Just like Trev said, they all got shitty personalities. But if you had to pick one, you want one that's smiling in your face and dogging you behind your back, or is going to dog you in your face and say, can you live with it? And that's the argument that a lot of people have. And that's why her racial identity matters and why it's such a topic, because when it comes to whether you say that you're, you know, when you're conveniently black and then you're conveniently Indian and you're conveniently Canadian and you're conveniently American and so on and so, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know if I could trust anything that you do to be for the best interest of the people of the United States. And that's one of the arguments. And speaking on Trump, Marcus, you have mentioned how Trump was with Michael Jackson. You know, it's interesting how, and if I don't know if you guys are starting to notice it, it's amazing how a lot of these Trump things are being dug up on him, kind of exonerating him to a degree on his whole quote unquote racist position. I've always said that Trump is not racist, he's classist. He just don't like poor people. He don't care what color you are. But I'm starting to listen. I'm starting to hear people dig up. This is stuff the media seem to not play, the sound bites. But when you play the rest of it for context, it says, oh, he said that part right before it, and he said that part after it, which makes the whole sentence make sense. But CNN or MSNBC or whoever only gave us this part, which got people all riled up. Why didn't y'all play the whole sentence? Why don't you play the whole soundbite? How come you didn't? Why don't you play? Why are people digging up old school VHS tape videos from the 90s of Trump doing certain things that would not make him look the way that the media is trying to paint him as? I think that's a really interesting thing that's actually happening these days. And I don't think it's being driven by his campaign. I think people are just finding him and saying, hey, man, here's some more information on this guy. What do you think about this? That's all I got, though.
All right, go ahead, KP.
Good evening, fellas. A
Happy
little bit
birthday.
late, just
Happy
getting
birthday,
from
man.
a meeting. Appreciate y'all. Boy, y'all beating the crap out this bee's nest and making stuff fly. There's so many points that I want to address, so I'll take my time with it. LaFleur, it's good to meet you, but I got to push back automatically. When you start pointing out tropes that people usually push out about her criminal record and what she did with people, you'll find out it's under 60 that actually got convicted under her pen. And I'm hearing all this week, oh, the biggest thing they want to point out is she's not black, and then Mark is pointing out an outlier regarding the truancy, because that's not the norm. If you out there has to be a deterrent for you getting back in line with what society needs you to do. And we got a lot of people that are out of line, and that's not helping us progressively as people. So I don't know why you would choose to point that out, because there's outliers for everything. Now, as for her being competent, you know, you could say all of them lie, they do. I agree with Shane. You understand? It's all about selling your story the best to be persuasive, so that you can elicit the most votes. Then you do what you do for your party. That's why I understand that Shannon's a conservative. He's going to do what's best for him and his household. At the end of the day, that's one of my brothers. I may not have to agree with it, but you know what? I lower my voice and I strengthen my argument. All the brothers up here know I'm not voting for a rapist, a man that has shows racist tendencies aligned with David Duke and other people that come from that ilk. You understand? You will never get me to back somebody that took out a 2-page article to execute 5 innocent brothers, and when during his presidency he was addressed about it, And he said they probably did something. And at that point in time, New York City's police force was rife with corruption, just like LA. So they have something in common, because that went to the tops. As for covering that up, also covering up his grape of E. Jean Carroll, you need to look up that name and find out she didn't have no way but just to accept the civil suit and be gone. That gives me shades of Anita Hill and, good old Clarence Thomas. I'll do what I want to you, but if you ever challenge me, I'll push you up out of the system, and people forget about you like, old drawers that you throw in the garbage. Let's talk about Janet. She's no better than Amber Rose. Wait a minute. Didn't she just hustle one of them Arabs for $500 million for having a baby? Let's not talk about that. Smile, Marcus. I remember that. The contract she signed, if it didn't work out, irreconcilable differences, I'm getting $500 million from this man. We don't want to talk about that, do we? It's fact.
Let's talk about it. Before we move on to the next thing, let's address one of the things you said. You said, I won't vote for a man who is a staunch racist who took out a 2-page ad in the paper. He didn't say nothing specifically about them boys, but he did take the ad out. I give you that. But let me ask you this, Kenny. Have you been voting? Hold on. Let me just get to the question. Have you been voting Democrat your whole life?
Have I been voting Democrat? When I got my rights restored, yes.
Well, when did you start voting Democrat?
That would have to be when I was like in my 20s.
Did you vote for Joe Biden?
Yes, I did.
I think I can rest my case on that.
Okay, so pardon me.
I don't know.
I voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is no better. I remember the crime bill. You understand? I remember what he called us.
You remember who his friends are?
Whose funeral he used the N-word. Yes. But you know what? I weighed the two. I weighed who was in back of him that would keep him in line, because all of them got handlers. Would you disagree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so when McConnell was staunchly against Trump, when they all got him in line and pulled him in that room and threatened to give him a towel beating, we needs to get these things passed. Don't play with us. You never heard a Republican during that time made a peep or fight against them, because they were getting what they wanted. The good old boy system. You do recall that, right? Because McConnell changed his tune just like that. Remember, you got the right one tonight. And that works the same with Democrats. But I gave you solid reasons of why I can never back a man against those of my color.
I'm saying you backed Joe Biden. But you backed Joe Biden.
I backed Joe Biden because I realized who was behind it. I realized we couldn't have somebody that was tearing down the rating of our country to world leaders around the world. America lost its A++ standard while Trump was in office. Most world leaders did not respect him. Is that true or not true?
I don't know that to be a fact.
Okay, so I guess you weren't paying attention.
I've heard people say that, but I don't know that to be a fact. What I do know is when Trump met with the Taliban and they told him that they was going to keep shooting soldiers, he walked in that room and handed them a postcard at his house and told him, you kill another American, we're going to blow your crib up. I think that's pretty respectful, because they ain't shoot nobody for at least 9 months after that. Am I lying about that?
Okay, you're not. But that's comparable to when Obama took out, Obama bin Laden. That was something that needed to be done. Correct? No. So what are you saying? They all do something to make the country look strong and galvanize the country. They all pick somebody. Hold on. They all pick somebody that they were once allied with and then destroy them. That's mafioso at its biggest. There's no other place that I wish to live in the land of milk and honey rather than what we can't call third world countries again. I prefer to be under the wing of the devil than in front of him.
Let me ask you this,
blind and ignorant to where we live. You understand? And the rights afforded to us. My dad should be one of those stars up on that wall. You understand? So I don't discredit what was done so we can have our freedoms. But I'm gonna call a spade a spade.
So
I
let me ask
watched
you
the
this,
man.
though.
Huh?
I just had a question for you. I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't know you was done or not.
Nah, because I can't hog the mic. Tell me what you need to tell me.
Oh, okay. So I know you mentioned Grapus and a page ad. The Grapus thing, was this man convicted of grape?
Okay, so the
I'm
context
just asking a
behind it,
simple
back in
question.
the okay, so you wanna allow me to answer, or you
Go
wanna
ahead.
try to be Bill Duke?
No, go ahead. I'm not gonna try
Okay,
to
so
what?
if I mentioned it before, I know you could be a man of detail. When I mentioned the name E. Jean Carroll, you should have been able to look it up, look in the context of what he did to that woman. But because of how they played ball back then, they told her take it or leave it because he'll never get convicted as long as he rubs elbows with the right people up on this side of town. So she took the suit and she disappeared in anonymity. But it was done, and that's not the only person he touched. Let's talk about the lady on the plane. Let's talk about how much charges that of that ilk that he settled out. Let's talk about the last one with Stormy Daniels. I might as well
Was he
take
convicted?
campaign funds.
Was he
Let my
convicted of any
lawyer
of these
let my
charges?
lawyer be the patsy. But that's true. You did take campaign funds to pay this woman because she was about to out you because you were an adulterer and you was there throwing that orange little dick up in me because you was a
Pause.
yeah. No, I'm over a certain age. I'm not using no pause. That was
Bro, you gotta
proof.
use pause on that one, bro.
Nah. I'm a little older than you.
Nah,
I don't know
bro.
what that means. When I
You
used to
got to
have
use pause on
that
that one.
8-track, it had pause, play, tape, and stuff like that. So I'm a
No, I'm
man of
saying
that.
somebody could take this stream and clip it up to her, and you got to
Okay,
use pause on that one.
okay. So watch this, Darwin. I don't give two shit because I know what type of man I am. I wear Timbs. I don't like boy booty.
Pause.
We all straight men up here. Next
Bro,
topic.
Hey, yo, wait, you
Talk
still
your,
wear
talk your
Timbs?
shit, Gooch.
Oh yeah,
Talk your shit,
I love
Gooch.
Timbs. In the winter, I got winter up here. They
What
give good
like the
traction.
double soles?
The official ones.
so
Trev,
your
you know what's
calf
up.
Gotcha.
muscles is raised up. That's
Not the
even
ones
more
you buy
pause.
from Jimmy Jazz. No, the official ones.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. That's why I said the double soles. Huh? You know what I mean? I wouldn't put that on you, bro.
Bruce, you wouldn't know nothing about that.
So did they address Trump on that 4-page ad or whatever? Like, did they readdress him? Like, hey, look, now that you know that these guys didn't do it, how do you feel about this ad?
Okay, a media person actually stood in front of him, and you could research that, pull it up, and ask them. So, being that these guys were exonerated as for what they did, how do you feel about what you did in the past, posting that in a periodical note, which is the New York Post, which was, one of his buddies. He was allowed to do that. He said they probably did something. You can go and research that and fact check. And if I'm wrong, I'll walk it back, but I doubt I am.
Okay, so Kenny, like using that same logic, don't you hate when people put things on somebody's jacket, especially something like grape?
Agreed.
So before you call somebody a grapist, wouldn't you want them to be actually convicted of grape?
Okay, nah, because a lot of people beat that charge, and then they go on to do it again. No,
It's a contradiction.
So Shannon, that face, I can point out.
You didn't want the Central Park
cases
Five to get
of
convicted
some
for something
people
they
that
didn't
beat
do.
the charge and went back. And we could talk about deletions. There's some people that beat the charge and then went out there and did the same thing again.
Do you see the hypocrisy?
How is it a hypocrisy? Because they
didn't
get caught.
You didn't want the Central Park Five to be convicted of something they didn't do, but still you sit here and fight with words to get a man convicted of grape that he didn't do.
Okay, so actually, you need to research it before you sit in your lightly dimmed foyer and challenge me
Well,
on this. I would like to. I
well,
would like for you. I don't want to do what I do to Viz to you. As for going to
Well, Kenny,
do
I
the
know the
footwork.
case. I know the case
Yeah.
about E.G. Carroll. What happened was they were at Bergdorf Goodman in 1996. It was in springtime on a random Thursday. They couldn't recall what Thursday it was, and she said that she ran into him, and they ended up in the lingerie department, and that he pushed her into a closed door in the dressing room, started kissing her, ripped her panties down, and fucked her in the dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman in 1996. Trump says he never met the woman. He's always position was, I don't even know this chick and I ain't never met her. Her argument is, I never said anything because I just didn't want to I didn't want him to give me pushback or get in trouble or him to retaliate on me. So she won a $2 million lawsuit back then. Then she came out with a memoir. And then last year, 2023, that's when she got the additional $5 million because they added the memoir to add on to the other charges and stuff that he was going on. Now, I know the case because I was there, 1996. I was in college. I remember when it happened.
Chan, can you explain the difference between civil and criminal? And the burden of proof?
Say it again. No, I don't want it to be a legal. I can talk about civil versus criminal. I usually use the OJ case, the best way for that. But let's not get into that. Let's just stick with the fact that Kenny is calling somebody the R word without him being convicted. Now, he was convicted of a lesser charge, sexual assault. But nevertheless, he maintains that he never met this woman. Mind you, he was already a billionaire when this happened. So a billionaire randomly R's a woman in the dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday in 1996. All she has is her word. There's no associates that was at the department store, at this huge department store that can corroborate her story. They can even say that she was there. She just said it. This could have been any woman that said this. Now, with that said, unless I've said something wrong about this case, you can correct me, interrupt me anytime. Tell me why and that's why I made the face when you said that, Kenny. Why would you? And I understand what you mean by sometimes these dudes get away with it. But sometimes these women get away with it too. So I'm asking you, why would you basically convict in your mind a man of this when the courts didn't do it?
So to answer your question, it's all in black and white. And I made the comparative as for Anita Hill. She got ostracized and she got ousted. She was never able to be at the political heights when she once was when she went against Clarence Thomas. He did touch her. But he used that good old boy system that Trump did up these parts as for, we're not going to let that fly. We're going to impose our will and you're going to take what we give you because we're never going to convict. That reminds me of Mississippi Burning. Remember that line said, you'll never get a jury to convict me in, was it Mississippi? It's the same type of rhetoric. So I get where Marcus is trying to string this. You've never been in a position where your money and your influence allows you to impose your will on whatever you see. I've been around cats like that. Wait, you know what? Let me pull that back, Marcus. I may not know. So I'll concede that. But for the things that I am pointing out.
Thank you.
Okay, for the things that I am pointing out, I gave my reasons as for why. And I can give more reasons as for when he lets certain blacks out of jail. There's no recidivism programs because they know they were going to go back. That's chess. While he's throwing you a chicken bone, he's putting 300 federal judges in place.
No, you're going to go back? What do you mean by no, you're going to go back?
Okay. So if you're an offender, let me walk you through this coloring book with me, Bruiser. This is one of them times you gotta hold my hand. So if I'm not giving you life skills to come back into civilization, and you know the strike is against you with that F on your back, what are the percentages that they'll revisit crimes and get back incarcerated? What's the percentages on that? Is that the minority or the majority? Is it high or low?
I don't know, but I'm gonna take your word for it. You've done the research. I would lean on your research. Sound like you did some really good research on that. But
Okay, so
I would assume that you're gonna say it's high that the person would get out and reoffend and end up back in jail. Am I correct?
okay, so yes, it would be. So when I'm in the barbershop hearing cats yell this about, well, at least you let some of my brothers out that committed crimes and under the statutes, but they out now and they don't have any programs to have them become productive members or enough programs to make them productive members within societies with that felony jacket that they hold on them. They tend to return to right where they came from. But while he's doing this, he's he's pushing because we don't vote locally to get 300 federal and state judges in office to push what they want, and then 3 Superior Court justices will have lifetime appointment until they croak. And watch what they did with some of his charges. They voted for him. Checkmate. When you know he did something, but you're going to sit there and try to defend him. Am I wrong?
Okay, so I'm not gonna say you're wrong on everything you said, but I'm kind of disconnected on this notion that you're giving these men that's been caged up for all these years what they want. They want to get out. You're saying that you got to hold the person who released them responsible for them reoffending because they didn't give them a program so they can be completely rehabilitated into society.
Okay, so
What does that look like? What does it look like? What does the process look like to release a man who's been in jail for 20 years onto society and him actually flourish as a citizen, as if he didn't skip a beat from being locked up? How is
have
that
you
even
ever been
possible?
have you ever been a felon? Huh, Bruiser?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. I've been a felon since you on tuck tail now. And when the
Pause.
phone company took me, you tuck and tail. So
Pause.
I thought we was men up here. We speak our truth. So
I'm just
let me
saying, like,
speak. Wait, I
can you
can't
answer
speak for
that question?
you. You light skin. I'm gonna speak mine. You understand? So here's what we gonna do. In 96, in the 90s, when I still have my felony jacket. There was a phone company that took me, and I had to stand up there after many companies said, nah, I don't want nothing to do with you. They had a federal incentive that they would get $75,000 every year that I stayed on the books and I didn't get in trouble. And I said, thank you, God. You understand? And I proved them wrong. Now, 28 years later, I'm still there, 2 years from retirement. But watch this. Most that come out don't get the chance that I do. I'm an outlier. Most companies don't want nothing to do with you when they see that felony jacket on you. So what? As a president, I got to think proactively. It's not checkers, it's chess. I have to be able to put enough programs so these people could be successful outside rather than in. But watch this. They have no incentive because big businesses, jails and prisons, they make a lot more money having you in than
So,
out.
isn't it safe to say that you've been in there 20 years, reading all these fucking books and studying and beating your meat? You had enough time to
First thing
get
you
out
talk about beat me.
and
Go ahead.
become a fucking outlaw, or you was fucking some ass, whatever way you want to spend it. I just
What
gave you,
ass?
I don't know, it's a lot of ass in there,
Oh,
brother. You can tell me.
What?
I just said I didn't want to attack your character, so I said beating your meat. I would rather somebody say I was beating my meat. Yeah, hell yeah, I was beating my meat. I wasn't doing the other thing. So you was in there for
Call
20 years
a Fifi bag.
choking your chicken. You had enough time to become an outlier when you got out. I would argue that everybody who been in there for that amount of time should be sharp. Like, look, I know exactly what the fuck I'm gonna do. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. I'm gonna hit the ground running. You can't put that on the person who released you, bro. Because it sounds like you're arguing that it's better for them not to release them, period, unless they got a program that
shows
them
you
in
don't
some
know.
magical wash machine and they become law-abiding citizens again and flourish in the community.
Doing, I could tell you this confidently with all my heart. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't know your ass from your elbows. You know what institutionalism is?
I know what it is.
Okay, so now for those brothers in there that have to reacclimate to culture, they need help. Because if you lock somebody in a cage for 20 years, they become accustomed to that life. So now you have, once you're letting them out in masses, like you're supposed to be doing the good faith, you know, you're supposed to be able to give them the therapy and the recidivism. So they don't
They got
do
therapeutic
recidivism. You're
communities.
supposed to provide them step for step how to get back into society, shed the institutionalism, spoonfuls, and let them become productive members of society. But
They
here's the
got
bigger game that
access
you
to
missed.
therapeutic
They
communities.
knew they was
got
gonna
an
go back
unlimited
in
library.
masses. Okay, so they knew they was gonna go back, Darwin.
No, they did
Because
not.
if you do not provide these things, the majority of them will go back.
I'm telling you,
They have no soft skills, they have no hard skills. Some of them do, but the majority of them was like, ain't nothing for me out here.
Well, why haven't you started
If
a
they ain't
program, Kenny?
self-deleting themselves, they going back to what they know.
Look, I'm apologize on your behalf to the people that's incarcerated right now that's doing a bid. And they somehow was able to smuggle a fucking iPhone 15 through their ass crack and able to watch Lapeef right now. They probably want to punch the shit out of you right now for saying, hey, look, if I'm in there for 15 years and I'm listening to you, I'm like, man, fuck what Kenny said. I want to get out. If anybody on this panel, anybody in the chat, put a one in the chat. If you in there for 10, 15 years, regardless of a program that's going to rehabilitate you on the outside or put you back in a position to where you can flourish in the community, you want out.
Who said?
I want out. I don't want to be in there.
I don't
give a damn about no program. I'm going to get it on my own when I get out. You
20 years when, watch this, 20 years when we had beepers back then in the 90s, Shan, and now you come up to smartphones where you touch and they can do their own thing. That's a culture shock.
Yeah, man, Darwin.
I got family, 20 years ago, when you had a deuce and a quarter, now you got a Tesla that could drive itself. What?
Yeah.
No, worried about material things. I'm worried about my kids, my family, bro. Like, look at the shit you talking about, Kenny.
Darwin. So the thing is with you, the reason why you seeing it that way is the reason why you aren't in jail. Is the reason why you are successful the way you are. But what Kenny's trying to explain to you, especially when it comes to institutionalized men, is they do go back. I mean, statistically, they go back. But the problem is, you think that 15 years in, they can't wait to get home. A lot of them, 15 years in, they actually dread coming home. A lot of them do. A lot of them are thinking like, and I'm telling you this because I have a family member who did 20 years in prison. And when it was time for him to come home, he came home. He was home for a month. Then he went and robbed a liquor store. And then he went and my uncle, he sat on the curb and waited for the police to come. And when the police came, he just quietly went back to prison again. He couldn't wait to go back. In addition to that, I have another family member who gangbangs, who all the opportunity in the world when he came home, all the jobs that whatever he want, he couldn't. He did what he needed to do. We think just to go back to prison. So while in your mind you're thinking, man, I can't wait to get home because I'm gonna get my shit together and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it happen. There is a certain element of men that do that, but there's another huge element of men that don't want nothing to do with YouTube, don't want nothing to do with iPhones, don't want nothing to do with a Tesla. I'm just throwing up the keywords that I've heard tonight. Don't want anything to do with modern technology and society, because when in their heyday, they had none of that and they didn't really experience any of it in prison, and prison is safe for them.
So what about the ones that's thinking, okay, let's just take that off of the plate then. I concede.
Okay.
I agree with that on Kenny. Apologize if I offended you, Kenny. I agree on that point. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Shannon. What about the men that's in there that then had beepers and whatever, and they like, fuck a beeper. I just want to see my mama. I want to see my father. I want to see my sister. I want to see my little nieces and nephews that I didn't get to see growing up. I would think that those people appreciate that more than worry about how to be able to use AI to get a 9 to 5 or some shit like that. Like, these people have been locked up in fucking cages, bro. They not worried about no program. I get what you're saying, that there should be a program, but I don't think that there's a law saying that whoever releases them or whoever is the authority during their probation period or whatever, they need to incorporate some type of process to make sure these guys, man, you got motherfucking what they call it, Job Corps, you got unemployment office. Shit, why you locked up? Like I said, you got therapeutic community, man. What? Come on, man. There's so many things you can do. You can learn how to do a trade while you're in it. You can learn the computer language, C#, Java, HTML, object-oriented programming in there. You can learn all of that stuff from the books and come out and be a engineer.
Okay, so
Hold tight, y'all. Hold tight. Let me get to these super chats and then let me add some more context to this conversation. Katie Combs, $10 says, down low, Hughley can have several seats. His comments were disrespectful and totally uncalled for. Talking about her looks because he didn't like her comments was sassy. Egan A, $5 says, anyone of African descent and skin tone is black. Anyone whose ancestors are brought here as slaves are African American. Both, we are all the same. And lastly, Wide Nose Chronicles 1999 says, Darwin, you are right. Whether she decided to call herself black or not, white society will dictate what she is. Just here, black bees and NIG, she is called by white people. Trump supporting black men use this white soup trash. I think everybody contributed.
Because what Kenny sounds like is it almost reminds me of whenever they came out with the abolishment of slavery and start releasing slaves off of the plantation in droves and shit. And I think some slaves is like, fuck it, I'd just rather go back to this plantation because at least I got something to eat and food to stay, because people are passing away out here trying to get it on their own. I get it. But we don't live in those times no more. You can go cut some grass. You can go do the work that you didn't want to do. You can do you can become an outlier. I'm saying it's a possibility. You have the opportunity when you get out of jail. And I think that's enough to give you the motivation to want to get out and goddamn figure it out.
All right, let me go ahead and play this clip.
Janet Jackson was doing an interview. She gave comments and she said she had heard that Kamala Harris was not a black woman. To which you responded, and you questioned why she was questioning Janet's race. Do you think, with someone with the platform that Janet has, do you think it is irresponsible for someone of that caliber to repeat information that they have just heard? Janet said, "I just heard it somewhere." Is that dangerous, and is that irresponsible?
Well, I think the caveat is, for me particularly, I just had to make an apology to the vice president at the DNC, because I too was trucking in misinformation. And I think that it is very dangerous, but I think that it's more insidious than that. I think it's easily provable to determine whether her father is black or not. Right. You could Google it right now and find out. There's a reason you don't want to know, and there's a reason that information or finding something like that, you've never seen that in mainstream or even middle of the road news. You have to search the furthest reaches of the right wing internet to find that. It's the same place where they tell you Haitians eat dogs. It's the same place they tell you that Obama wasn't born here. It's the same place where all the scandals live and all these right wing conspiracy theories live. And there's a reason that people perpetuate that. To what end? Okay, now I just wanted to know. First one, it seemed ironic that a woman who has had family members. Now for a lot of people, they're questioning whether Kamala is black, but there are a lot of people who question whether Jacksons want to be. When you shave out Michael Jackson, a lot of them, they all got the same nose. There's a reason for that. So it's ironic to say that question somebody's blackness while you're doing it through the nose of a white woman. That's just ironic to me. So part of it is humor and part of it is irony, but I don't think that it is. I think that it has a malicious intent. I don't think it's innocent, because I think based on where it comes from and the type of allegation it was, assertion it was, it's easily provable. Why would you perpetuate it, particularly at this point in the race? But when somebody apologizes and you say, if you fire the person who apologizes to you for the thing that you said, and you don't try to make that thing right, then what else? You can't double. That's basically doubling down on what you said. And to me, it's not. These people on the internet. It is one black woman saying something that hurts another black woman. I don't get what the purpose. Even if that were true, even if her father was white, which we know he isn't, what the fuck did that have to do with anything we're talking about? You went out of your way to have this conversation. There is a reason that people on the right wing have those conversations, because they know that that's another way to say he's not like us.
All right, go ahead, Hank.
Man, it's now actually hearing audio of what he's saying, man. It doesn't make it any better than what I'm saying earlier. Look, he has an agenda. His agenda is what it is. To take shots at Jan and talk about a white woman's nose. I mean, damn, that's just rough. But yeah, I can't take DL serious, man. I really can't, because of where he stands for, man. And we've seen how he flip-flopped so many times. And he just admitted, he was out there spreading the same misinformation. All right, man. I'm sure you wanted somebody to give your ass some grace. Give that same woman the same grace that they gave you. I don't remember nobody out here blasting you like this when you was supposedly spewing that wrong information. Give that woman the same thing. So.
All right, go ahead, Trev.
So, who made D.L. Hughley the authority? What made him feel like he should just be the guy to govern the situation, right? I understand where you may have something to say about it, but damn, for him to be dogging her like that, and I mean, I understand he's a comedian. I don't think Hank is wrong when he says that he has an agenda, because he's absolutely been pushing for the left, and that's fine. That's his prerogative if that's what he wants to do. But don't do it under the guise of something else, right? Like when you're trying to make it a black thing, it's really just a left and right thing. That's what it all boils down to. You are pushing for Democrats. It's not so much about black people per se, or else you wouldn't be downing another black woman talking about her nose and stuff. In my opinion. So I think that's where we have the disconnect. And I understand he's a comedian. He's going to have his jokes and everything. But now, for you to be all over the place, and when people change their minds, that's fine. You have the right to change your mind. But when you expect me to follow you as you change your mind, we're going to have a serious issue. Right? I kind of wanted to weigh in on, not that really bring it, I know you don't switch the topic, but I kind of wanted to weigh in on what Kenny and Dharma had going on. Because I've seen some situations where people would be in jail, and it's very difficult for them to adapt coming out, and there's nothing here for them to do. And I don't think it's just more of a situation where people want to do that. They don't want to go back to it. They have a plan and they think that they can come out, but that adapting is just so difficult for some men to do. They don't know that it's like they're thrown it. It's like a time machine when you go outside, because it's a completely different world on the inside, and things don't function as they do out here. You have to get acclimated going in there. You have to have changed it, whatever your frame of mind was. And then trying to come back out and be a a highly functioning human being where the responsibility is now on you instead of the state, because you don't really have to think for yourself. You don't have to do a bunch of you don't have to worry about responsibilities and bills and all of that. Everything is kind of taken for you. Like you served before, and you on base. You ain't really got to worry about that much. It's the same thing when you're in prison. When you come home, now everything falls on you. But I'll leave it there.
Hey, real quick, JR, based on that clip that you played, I wanted to point something out to everybody before we move on. You guys have noticed, well, remember what I ended my last point when I was telling Marcus about how the media seems to suppress a lot of stuff and you got to dig for the full context of things. You'll notice that D.L. Hughley made it seem like, well, what does that have to do with anything, is what he's saying. Making it seem as if Janet Jackson just out of the blue, on her own, decided to say, well, you heard what they said. I heard her father's white, or that she's not black, or whatever. You know, and if you look at a lot of the media that's out there, they won't even put up the question that the reporter asked her, because the girl, she worked for Variety magazine. They won't even post what she asked. They'll make it seem as if she was asking Janet Jackson about her social justice points from her Rhythm Nation album. Had nothing to, that's not true. In fact, the question that was asked was, I quote, and you got to look real hard for this. Let me see if I can post it. Where she stands, where the interviewer asked Janet Jackson where she stands on the forthcoming election, with America on the verge of voting in its first female black president, end quote. Now, you won't find that question. You won't find what the reporter, what I just read to you guys, said in most of any publications, because they want to remove the fact that Janet was asked about that, and that she said that she was the first black president, and Janet responded saying, well, wait a minute. I hear what you're saying, and I can get to that question basically, but I heard she's not black. Well, you know, I thought her father was white. It actually, in context, makes sense as to why Janet answered the way she did, but they won't play it out like that. They want to make it seem like Janet just out of the blue just got beef with her or something. And that's why D.L. Hughley in that soundbite that we just heard is on there saying, you know, a black woman hurt another black woman. What does her blackness have to do? Why does it have to do with? She was asked, what do you think about the first black president? And Janet said, well, is she the first black? Maybe she should have asked, what do you think about the first female president? Then Janet would have probably answered that. She wouldn't have said, well, if she would have thought she was a man, she probably said, well, you know what I heard? I heard she's not a woman. She didn't say anything about the first woman president. She said the first black female president. And Janet answered that way. See, I'm saying this to say, even with D.L. Hughley pushing the narrative that and this is why I'm with Hink 100%. He's pushing a narrative. What does this have to do with anything? Don't make it seem like Janet Jackson's out there hating on black women. Like Janet Jackson's out there hating. Now, maybe Janet does have some beef because maybe Kamala tried to put her brother in jail years ago. But skip the Michael Jackson Kamala debacle that happened a long time ago. Don't make it seem, DL, that Janet Jackson is out here just hating on black women or hating on sisters and stuff like that. Then you want to attack her and talk about her nose and go all with that bullshit. Simply give the full context of the interview. Say what the interviewer asked Janet in its entirety. Then give Janet's response in its entirety. Don't skip past what the interviewer asked. Start the conversation at Janet's quote and then make it seem like she's just pulling it out of her ass out of thin air. That's not cool. And it's important. And the reason I'm talking about this right now, it's important that people don't trust the media. Don't trust people who seemingly have. I'm not necessarily saying that you could vote this way or vote that way. Simply get the entire truth, the whole truth, and nothing but it before you cast judgment or listen to other people that talk and tell you what to do or say. Because a lot of people will not give you all the information that you have, and you can guarantee that the media is not going to give it to you. Just wanted to put that out there, man.
All right, let me play this up the video just for context.
That celebrity endorsements push the needle, help campaigns, hurt campaigns? Do they do anything? We just saw Pharrell come out and say he hates when celebrities speak about politics. You just had Taylor Swift, who we know has a huge fan base, and she came out and endorsed Kamala. Do you think when celebrities get political and start doing their endorsements publicly, do you think that ththese actually help the candidates?
Well, I don't know the efficacy it has, but I do know this. I'm a guy who talks on stage about all the things I see, and it just so happens to a great degree, politics is morphed into pop culture. So a lot of things that we'll be joking about or talking about on stage, and I think it's up to the individual if they feel like they want to get involved. We live in a society, and I think the price of living in a society is that you have to do something. If one of the things you do, that's the freight you pay for existing here. And if one of the things you do is to bring awareness to political, because every social issue has a political remedy. So you can't say people shouldn't get involved in politics. If you want police reform, you got to be involved in politics, right? If you want voters' rights change, you got to be involved in politics. So you can't say don't be involved in politics if you're this particular endeavor, if you're this is your occupation. I think every citizen has the right to do everything they can do to make their society better to the extent that they can. And that's whether I did this or whatever I did, I hope I would feel the same way. Now, how people perceive what I do or what other celebrities do, I can't say, and the efficacy they have, I don't know about.
Pose a question to the panel. How should public figures in the Black community engage in political conversations without causing division?
I think they should stick strictly to what the points of views that they believe in, the policies they believe in, whatever they believe in, just stick to that. Don't try to make it a black and white thing. I feel like public figures have a stake in this too. I mean, just because you may be rich or whatever, don't make you exempt from policies. There's taxes involved that a lot of these public figures have issues with, and they probably vote on the strength of those policies that accommodate them in those areas. But I think that whenever you're a political figure and you have a large audience and you're simply pushing hey, vote for this person because I think she's black, then okay, what is this black person gonna do is the next question. If you can't answer that, then you need to not necessarily lead with that, because then now you're creating this thing where black people are becoming a victim of racism. Like if you vote for a black somebody that you think is black to be in office, you become a victim of race of colorism or whatever you want to call it, because you think that putting color in the office is going to make a difference when we're not seeing anything. We haven't seen it in Obama. I think they even challenged his race or whether he was black or not. We haven't seen any difference made on the things that we really wanted. So you would become a victim. Like, I thought that my voting this person in office would have got X, Y, and Z, and if it didn't, I'm a victim of colorism or racism or whatever you want to call it. So I think that political figures, they do need to speak up, but you just be more transparent on what I think somebody said it earlier, Shannon, I think, speaking from integrity or some shit like that. I think if they can do that, then we good to go. But just using jokes and punchlines and shit that you probably took you months to create so you can, with your career experience to win your audience over, man, that's just, it's just foolery to me, man. Like what is the end game to this, making it about black and white or whatever? And then my other question is for the white folks that been in office or people who know the race of the white people. I know when you see Italian people, or I don't know the other term, you would consider those people white. You would just consider all of them white, whether they was Irish or whatever. Why don't they be specific with what type of whiteness or white race they are, like black people? Oh, he's Jamaican and black, or he's whatever trans-moving black or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Why do they not do that on the black side? Why on the white side they just, okay, he's just white? No, we gotta try.
They do that all the time, Darwin.
Oh, okay, so they do that.
They do. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
the Irish and the Italian. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they
So
got
they
their
do.
own.
So you get some of them that be like, don't even call me white. They looking blonde hair, blue eyes, and everything. They be like, I ain't white. I'll be like, really? No,
So
they do though.
There's been a narrative like, hey, look, vote for him because he's Irish.
Well, not a narrative. No, you're right on that one. Not a
No,
narrative.
there has been. Shan, historically, there has been. When an Italian American was running for office, he would campaign off of that, knowing that he was going to look out for Italian Americans. The same with
I mean, we can go back to the goddamn to the 5 boroughs. You know, we what was gangs in New York. I mean, yeah, to a degree, I get it, but a narrative, I think, is what Darwin. He's talking about modern.
Yeah.
It's not a narrative.
I'm talking. You literally divided on this woman's pigmentation. Like, I didn't see that on the other side. That's all I'm saying, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how is it credible to lean on that?
So there's an expectation for Black people to be politically conscious and Black. The general consensus of the large voting block of Black Americans believe that if you're a Black American, a certain core ideals and experiences that you're going to hold to heart, and that should guide and navigate you through how you affect policy change and voting. The issue we've been running into recently is some of the people that get elected are devoid of that experience or devoid of that cultural, just based off being Black, because they're different people around the world who come from different places who have a different experience. Like somebody who moves to America from some like Sudan at 29 might not think that institutional racism exists, or might not even consider themselves, like, they never heard of Black until they got here as a term for a unique identifier. Okay. So just looking at them based off skin tone, you might expect them to behave and move in a certain way, which is counterproductive to their worldview and how they view things moving forward. Like, an example is like Kamala got up and said, America is not a racist nation. Most Black women I know would never make that statement. They just wouldn't.
Let me ask you this, Marcus. Marcus, if a white person was scrubbing his homepage and he saw this live stream come up, like, oh, cool, there's a bunch of Black guys talking about politics. Would he be wrong?
Can you repeat that? I don't understand the question.
If from my understanding, everybody on here don't identify as Black. Is that true? Before I even make this statement,
just go along with the question. Just go along with the question.
So I'm saying, like, if another race, let's just say white race, looked at this channel and said, "Oh, those guys are all this is a Black podcast," but I know some of these people are not Black African descendants of slaves on this channel right now on this panel. I'm saying, would that white person be wrong for identifying us as a
collective? No, they wouldn't be wrong. No, they wouldn't be wrong, because anybody that took a glance at this show would be like, "Oh, look at all those Black dudes."
Exactly. So I'm like,
there's 8 Black dudes. Oh, look at the 8 Black dudes. I wonder what they're talking about.
Right.
Now, so we may know, well, not of all of us is Black. You know, it's only 5 of us are Black, 2 of us are this, and 1 of us is that. But the white person that just scrolled on YouTube and this came across their algorithm, they would say, "Oh, look, a panel of 8 Black guys." Okay, so now, what's your point?
So my point is, when did it come to that? When whenever it came to, when in time in history did it come to the point to where we needed to go to the sub layers of color to actually identify a specific race?
Listen, here's the thing. So listen, if Kamala was always Black, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The argument is, are you Black conveniently? And then you're this conveniently. Are you that? See, we got white. Hell, Rachel Dolezal, if you ask her, she ain't never been white. She Black. She president of the NAACP before she got found out. My thing is, the argument is that people are having, and why this is a topic, I'll repeat it again, Darwin, is that when you over here, you're Indian and you don't even mention Black. You don't even talk Black. You don't utter the word Black when you're over there until you get over here. And then you don't even mention Indian. You only Black.
And that's what I was asking earlier. Did she go on the record stating that she was Black?
Yes, she said she was Black. There's several interviews where she does claim to be Black.
Was this before she was vice president and thrust into the campaign?
It just depends on the network, bro.
There's been some from I've seen some as early as 2019.
Yeah,
But
no,
it
was.
So I would argue
it was during her 2016 race. Remember she ran for president. She didn't get selected.
She didn't
nowhere.
get
she won 0 primaries.
No delegates.
Yeah, she got
because what I'm conjuring up is maybe I'm just trying to put myself in a person's shoe that's running for president that identifies black. Like, can you imagine the amount of pressure to be able to get elected as president, identified as black, and still don't get the shit done? That will kill you for the rest of man. We don't have that. You the only nigga in the world that don't came to president, still ain't do. We don't had a nigga and all that nigga that went up there and ain't did shit. Like, can you imagine that? You probably don't even want to wear that color going to the office. Like, you looking for a way out of like, damn, I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be a hero. You know what I mean?
So to your point, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So that's something you're gonna have to carry with you. But the issue is, if she would have said I'm a person of color, no one would ever say anything to her. The issue is using political clout or leverage of a Black American experience to say this is how far we've come, when those two things don't correlate. You don't have the history of this, which is why you can say something like unburdened by the past. If you talk to me offline, you would never hear me specifically in America. I'm not talking. Well, her family owned slaves. I see the face, Kenny. We can go into it because I just was looking at some genealogy reports on her that make it even seem like that. Yeah, I was looking at some genealogy stuff that you know, in her book in 2019, she put out what's the name of the book? Well, in the book, she put a woman in there as Iris Flanagan as her grandmother. So this woman that supposedly was with her in the 90s died in 1955 or 1960. This dark-skinned woman that people have been saying is her grandma. So it's impossible that this is her grandma and that she lied about that person being her grandma. And I got the death certificate and the birth certificate and the marriage certificate.
Okay, so there's not people that you know that adapt people as their kinfolk that's not actually their kinfolk, but they grew up around these people and they know them as such. Or you
absolutely. But the inference was that her Black side comes from this specific person because her father is an Irishman. I got that picture too. So the Black side would be the grandmother, which would be Iris Flanagan, who isn't the person pictured in a display. It's a finesse. I could pull it all up.
I know you ain't got to do that. So now, all that you're doing regarding her genealogy and her background now dampens her credibility as for being a front runner for the presidency. So she lied. Yes, that's right.
Actually, that's not so. Yes, for me, it's a non sequitur for you to pretend to be a Black American and run off that cultural history. Had she said, "Hey, I'm Indo-Jamaican, I'm a Jamaican," or if she said, "I'm Indian," I wouldn't have no problem, and I could just look at her policies and have zero expectations. Probably wouldn't vote. But the thing is offensive what she's doing. Well, I'm saying I'm personally offended by the shit she's doing.
It's offensive.
Yes, I'm offended by
what exactly are you offended by? The lie?
Her using political clout of a struggle that she is not attached to in order to
cultural appropriation.
It's cultural appropriation.
Everybody else. It's the cultural appropriation part. To get ahead.
Okay, so
political clout is right.
Is that in the same wavelength as Trump? Okay,
an example.
Is that in the same wavelength as Trump going to the Bronx, getting rap? Is that in the same wavelength as Trump going to the Bronx, bringing out rappers, Chef G, and previewing his Air Force Ones?
Nah, he did it as a white dude.
And buying people chicken and shit.
Nah, he did it as a white dude. That would be, if that was the case, I'd be upset at Eminem. I ain't mad at Eminem. I ain't mad at fucking
Wait, let me add one more caveat.
You think I'm mad at the Beastie Boys? No, they're not appropriating or acting like or pretending to be something that they're not.
Oh, like
That's
the ads that he wanted to placate on at 50, saying that I'm a felon now, and he was promoting that on his pages. That yeah, I'm an active felon and using the 50 mantra to push his agenda. You mean that?
Is he a
I think he
felon?
was.
No,
I
but
would think
he
rocking with
really
him.
is a
I think
felon
he was
though.
rocking with him.
Okay, we're gonna just gloss over the point that he used 50 to push his agenda. Like he's a
I don't think
felon,
you.
I'm a felon.
I
That
don't know
is
if you
that
understand.
not it?
So
Cultural
Kenny,
appropriation.
Kenny, I don't think you understand what we talk about when we say cultural appropriation.
So
So
I just gave
I
you
can give you an
I
example
gave you an
that'll make.
example of cultural appropriation. I'm a felon too. That's cultural appropriation.
Is he a felon?
Yeah, but not like what we talking about. You ain't bust no gun, and you ain't sell no, but you using 50 to make your plight of your white collar crimes associated with what goes on in urban neighborhoods. Did he or did he not do that? Is that cultural appropriation? Yes or no?
So the way that you're describing it, that's not
It's
cultural
not a yes or no, brother.
So no, the answer is no.
Why
Are you serious?
I find it fascinating that busting a gun and selling the or whatever puts you in the culture.
Felon. He didn't say black. Don't even do this, Darwin. He said
I didn't
felon.
say black. I didn't say black either. I said put you in the culture. It just ties into the argument we made about hip hop.
That wasn't the argument Kenny made either. It's a lot of conflating going on.
No. It actually was. And I just gave you a clear end that he tried to compare his plight, which is appropriating, to him and 50 being of the same ilk.
No,
But that didn't make sense.
no, I don't think that him talking
No, I
about
don't
being
want
a
your
felon.
feelings.
I said think. I didn't say feel.
So you're good on bringing up definitions, right? Bring up cultural appropriation.
Okay.
I'll go with that. No, just to be fair, Marcus.
Okay,
Since
but
I
Kenny,
don't know
see,
what
the
I'm
thing is
talking
this.
about.
The thing is this. According to you, he is a felon. So how is he appropriating something if he is that?
Okay, so under that umbrella, you have different types, right? So now if
Now
you
you're
go
gonna
up in
push
the
the goalpost.
neighborhood, you have white collar, and then you have
So now you're gonna say, oh, it's the type of felon.
yes.
Uh,
That's why, and I gave the example. That's why he used the 50 background to say me and him was of the same ilk, and he pushed it until 50 said, I don't want to be associated with that. That's easily accessible, but Marcus don't want to say it. So now you're culturally appropriating yourself, like you come from that ilk. You was out on them corners, pitching. Is that not appropriating a certain culture?
I think a better term for that would be what is it? Cross
faking
market.
the funk.
AP. Okay, yeah, AP, do your Googles. It's there.
If now, Kenny, to your point, if he starts saying that he was a hood nigga that
I ain't
came from,
miss it. Do your Googles.
if he starts saying I'm a hood nigga that came from the slums and I grew up selling red tops and blue tops and shit and all
and
that,
he in these streets,
and yeah, he in these streets, and then yeah, I mean, good one.
and they not like us. If you saying they not like us,
then you would have an argument. You'd be like, what the fuck is Trump over here doing, bro? That ain't
if Trump is on BET at the BET Awards talking about they not like us, then yeah, you might have a point, Kenny.
Let me bring this video up, man. This is from The View. This is what they had to say.
Janet Jackson just did a wide-ranging interview with British newspaper The Guardian, but most of the focus is on when she was asked her thoughts on VP Kamala Harris possibly becoming the first black female president. She said, she answered by saying that she had heard that Harris's father was white, which we all know is false. And a staffer claims that he was fired for issuing an apology in her name and that her team certified he wasn't authorized to speak on her behalf. Now, Jackson has not responded to requests for comment, but no matter how you feel about celebs speaking out politically, is it okay for somebody to say, I don't know, I made a mistake?
Well, she hasn't said that she made a mistake. We don't know what she said because it's been one thing and another. Look, I think Janet Jackson, like every other American, whether you're a celebrity or not, has a right to endorse, support, or not support whomever they want. So she's got every right to not like Kamala Harris if she doesn't want to.
But that's not what she said.
What she doesn't know, what she did was spread misinformation. And I think it's very irresponsible when you have a platform the way Janet Jackson does to use that platform carelessly to spread misinformation based on a racist allegation by Donald Trump, right? It was Donald Trump who tried to say Kamala Harris just turned black. So let's just go through the 101. Kamala Harris is the daughter of 2 immigrants. Her mother is South Asian from India. Her father is black from Jamaica. Here is a picture for all of you who need, or for Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, here's the damn picture.
I feel like a picture of Kamala also would have done, Kamala Harris would have done the trick. I thought of it less from the perspective of Janet Jackson, who's an icon and I refuse to say anything bad about. Listen, we forget that we live in information silos. This is so different than how the media was even 10 years ago, where people largely got their news and their information from legacy media, where there was a level of objectivity and a fact-checking involved. So if you perhaps get, and I'm just saying this for an example, get all your news on Facebook and you lean right of center, that algorithm is monetized and going to tee up information that reinforces your own beliefs. If you're a Trump supporter online, you very likely won't encounter ever some of the worst things that he has said. The same does go for the left. I don't even know the partisan breakdown of what happened here, but my guess is she's not looking at great sources of media. And I say all this because it's why I try to not have judgment with Trump voters. Instead, I try to engage them, because I find people who are highly educated, highly successful, that support him, but they often don't know of some of the biggest scandals or the worst things that he's said about people or things that he's done. And I think if you take the judgment out and just kind of get back to facts and in trying to persuade people, it helps.
Well, this is the sorry, Sunny. This is the #1 most severe warning in the short term we have globally. Misinformation and disinformation. The World Economic Forum said this is our great.
I'm gonna stop it there and then I'll pick it back up. But I hear you guys.
So all right. I think there's precedent to what we describing too. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard of Mindy, the Indian girl who had the show, Mindy or whatever. Have y'all ever seen that show? It's a real dark skinned Indian woman, Mindy Klong or something like that. Well, I'll pull up the picture, but she has a brother. Her brother shaved his hair. She's 100% Indian, dot, not the feather. And her brother shaved his head and trimmed his eyebrows in order to appear to be a black man. He then applied for medical school in the University of St. Louis as a black man because he did not believe he would get in as an Indian man. That is the lady who she was actually saying she was Indian with on the show, by the way. So there's like 6 degrees of separation. They are people who actively pretend to be another race in order to reap some form of a social benefit. So it's not unheard of, like we said about Rachel Dolezal, pretending to be something else to reap a social benefit. What's really pressing is both of these people pretended to be black. And we had a place where initially we voted for Obama under the idea that he was a black man, or that he would operate as a black man within office. And what we came to find out was that no, he was not. So then we start trying to figure out why. And then that's how we came to the conclusion of, well, there's some people who may share the skin color but do not share the same experience or ideals behind that.
How do you operate as a black man?
So then what moved forward was like the reparations committees. So what they've been finding is people who are on the reparations committees have come from other places. They're not like American foundational born Black Americans. And by doing so, they've been advocating for reparations under the guise of skin color for all Black people, and have slowed up or prevented reparations from getting passed in different vicinities. So as this is coming out, people have been saying like, hey, there are people who look like us but are actively working against what would be called lineage-based reparations. So that has spawned a whole lot of, we need to separate because of this, because somebody can come speak on your behalf because they look like you and be working adamantly against you. Like when they were saying ADOS or FBA, Joy Reid, a Congolese American, has been online telling people that Black people don't want reparations. That's a Russian bot program. FBA and ADOS doesn't exist. It's like They've labeled anybody that's speaking on Black agendas or something specifically for Black people or tangibles as Russian misinformation campaigns. The DNC is actively labeling Black people trying to get something for themselves for their vote as Russian bots. They are actively working against us. This is a huge issue, and we're identifying who are collaborating with them doing it, and there's certain things coming back. And that's one of the key indicators of in the last maybe like 6 people that this has come back with, is that they aren't of American descent, so they would not qualify for reparations. So it behooves them to change it to just the terminology of Black. So this is where we're running into all of these issues at.
All right. Well, let me play a little bit more of the video.
Risk in the next few years, and it's not just this country, it's everywhere. And a few reasons. You mentioned that, you know, you've got the algorithm, but you also have internal people like, you know, Donald Trump, who ironically created or coined the term fake news, willingly and on the daily, it seems, perpetuating false stories on purpose. But then you also have foreign adversaries. We recently learned of Russia paying millions of dollars to content creators to keep them doing this. So the big message here is going back to like journalism 101 or just education 101, which is you never single source a story. When you're looking anywhere in journalism, we're always taught you have to back it up. In media, for as much flack as media gets for being leaning, we can get fired or in trouble for not being able to source where we got our story. But the other part of this story that bothers me is the whole identity issue. The fastest growing group in this country is multiracial individuals, not bi, multiracial individuals. So asking people, what are you? My biracial friends always struggled with they weren't white enough or they weren't Black enough, and they were always left in the middle. The middle is where the world is headed. And so we need to be more open about people's identities and what they identify as and have some grace.
Well, I do think you get to identify yourself, and being one of the multiracial people here at the table. I will say this. I would handle this the way Kamala Harris has, and that is to give it no air. I think Kamala is breaking barriers just by being in the room, regardless of whether Janet Jackson thinks she's Black or white or Indian. The very fact that she is in the room deconstructs, in my view, the alleged societal norms that we've seen in the nearly 250 years of this country of what a presidential candidate looks like. And so I think...
Can you pause it? Can you pause it, please?
And I also...
That's literally what I was talking about creating a false dichotomy between the places that the United States has come from to where the progressive policy and progressive place we're at. Because she just said 250. She's making a correlation that Black people who are enslaved are now in the highest office of political appointment, which is false. It's 100% false. False. False.
Okay, false. Repeat what you just said.
She is making the argument that the past, this is where we have progressed to, which makes the argument that people who have descended from slaves under the just everybody Black envelope, without looking and seeing the historical relevance to this, are now making it to political appointments to the highest position of the land, which is president, vice president, which is false. It has not happened. It's never happened. She is not a Black American. She does not share the same social interaction with this country as the people
take it off of being specific. So we're not at a time in history where we have more rights, more ability to do more than we have in the past, as for political as well. Is that untrue?
Again, she's making the argument that Kamala represents what she does not represent, which is the issue with her culturally appropriating the term Black American and getting to that position. If she says...
So, what if I told you that she identified as being Black, and under the construct of the rules that we now follow, that is in line and that is factual?
What if I told you that?
Being that I just hold on. Okay, now you're answering it with a question. That means
so I'll answer your question directly. I would say I don't believe in that, and I think that's some bullshit. Similar to how I don't believe Bruce Jenner is a woman under the confines of what we currently agree or societal norms. I don't think men that transition are women. And if I find somebody dating one, I will say they're gay. So I don't think she can be transracial and then just decide to be black. That is my personal opinion.
Okay, so
I don't. We haven't got that far to where you can identify as a different race yet, right?
We're literally going through it right now.
I'm just saying,
are you aware?
I'm saying, I'm just asking the question. There's flags, there's marches, there's an actual committee behind LGBT. They have like an actual organization. I'm saying, is there an actual organization that says you can be tomorrow? I can be a white man.
Yes.
What is that called? What is the name of that organization?
That's pretty much
the United States government.
Yeah, that's pretty much stipulated. You can identify as white. You can identify as a woman. You can identify as.
Show me the
what is it, Shan? Over 72 different genders.
Something. I thought it was 200.
Okay, I don't know. Help me out. Because last time I thought it was 3, male, female.
Yeah, so
you know,
to answer his question, he was like, "Is there an organ? It's the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of mental disorders, says that you can identify how you want, and we have adopted
a mental disorder document.
Well, that's the
but
DSM-5
it's no longer. Actually, it was taken out in the 1970s.
Is the LGBT also has a disorder? The word disorder behind the document that authorizes them?
No,
that's the whole thing. That's the argument, because remember the DSM-3 and the DSM-4 had it in there as a disorder originally, and they rewrote it
but they had to take it out in the 70s.
Yeah, no, they took it out recently. They had it in there in the 70s. I think they took it out in 2000.
I thought it was 76 that they removed homosexuality as a mental
the homosexual
disorder.
part. Yeah, I'm talking about, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of transgender. Transgender was taken out recently. Right. Homosexual was taken out in the 70s. Kenny's right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they took out pedophile too, right? It's minor attracted person at this point.
Yeah, that's the one that they ready to take out for DSM-6. They want to make the pedophiles that it's not a disorder for you to be attracted to kids. But real quick, man, did y'all catch that? I know I'm beating this dead horse about this media stuff. That TV show with Whoopi Goldberg and them, The View, and how that woman was like, that's what Trump did. Trump, he started the whole rhetoric on her, and that's not true. It's like they just lie flat out, and they assume, I guess rightfully so, that most people are not going to do any research. It's not going to remember anything. They assume that you guys are going to just be dumb and not remember anything. They assume that we don't remember when Trump was invited to the National Association of Black Journalists. And he sat up there with that girl, Rachel Scott. And Rachel Scott asked him specifically, do you believe that Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she's a black woman? ? That's a quote. That's what she said to him. And then his response was, his response was, is she black, and all that other kind of stuff. I always thought. And he also said, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago. And I don't care what she is. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me. I don't care. That's what he said, literally, verbatim. But they go on the TV show. See, because that was 2 months ago. They'll go on TV and they'll just talk. They'll say it just flow. The lies just flow so smooth out their mouth, man. You would think it was gospel. It's crazy to me to hear that kind of stuff. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen, when you guys hear people that just come up and just talk, and they sound so eloquent, and it sounds so educated, and it's so convincing when they lie. Be careful, man.
One of the scariest things is that they present themselves as being neutral, but they are left as you can possibly be. That to me is dangerous. They're saying most Americans are going towards the middle, but they're presenting it as if they are somewhere.
That's both sides, right? It's the right too that do that too. That's like all of them. Come on, we got to keep it real. There's some right wingers out there that make it seem like they're just normal and just want to be, and they just be.
But at least they identify themselves as conservatives. At least they identify themselves as like these people are literally presenting themselves as if this is just like somewhere in between, but it's really not. Like their views are pretty radical. If you were to ask me, when I sit down and listen to them talk, it's scary sometimes. Just their opinions, it's bad, and the gaslighting that's really happening here. Like just when you pointed out some of the phrases that they just try to turn around to make it seem like if they were talking about something else, it's bad, and it's designed to trick people and to let them believe that, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and people just eat this stuff up. The average American is just listening to this and thinking it's cool, and it's a shame because they're lying their asses off, and they've been doing it for years, and the view's been getting away with it. And there's nobody to check them. There's no checks and balances. And then a lot of the stuff they're saying like, oh, well, a lot of people, they won't look. Their sources won't be any good. But then they're watching your shit. You saying they're going to just go on some source that's going to take them to the right. But they're watching your shit. That's the problem. You're not doing anything better. It's just on the opposite side of the spectrum. That's it. So it's not like you really want anyone to really be neutral or in the middle or balanced. You want everybody to think left, and I don't know. I don't like the view. They're way too I don't know what you would call them. Most of them are misandrist, in my opinion, on that panel. That's just me.
It's funny. A statement was made about Barack, and I tend to lean toward Eric Dyson, his criticisms on Barack. But it's funny how certain people, black people, wanted him to correct over 300 years of injustice in 8 years. You know how difficult it was for him to be stoic? Do you know how many things that he put forth that got slashed down, vetoed, and didn't move forward? As for what would have worked for us progressively, people just go at face value with things. That man just didn't get all them gray hairs for nothing.
Kenny, I'll say this: it's almost impossible to mention Obama's presidency without saying Mitch McConnell, because I understand what happened with that, and I understand that his whole basis was to shut everything down, right? So I know what you're saying. I
remember Mitch McConnell's statement. Because we will do everything in our power to make him a one-term president.
Yes. And he did, and he didn't make him a one-term president, but he tried his damnedest, and he cock-blocked everything, right? I think a lot more would have been done if he would have got more cooperation. The only caveat with that is it's part of your which is still damn near impossible, but part of your job as president is to be able to galvanize the people, right? You're supposed to do something that would make both parties at least want to come down and sign some bills. And I'm not saying it's anything to do with his effort, because
he did.
I don't know what he could have done.
Obamacare. That was big.
No, I dig it. I understand. Listen, there's a million things he did. You could talk about how he saved the banking system, right? If you want to go ahead with that, the major banks were going to fail. People said
the Goldman Sachs, yes.
You can talk about the three major car companies that were about to fail, and they told them to fail, right? And a lot of union jobs were saved, and American companies were saved. Understood. So you don't hear me do. I'm not to the point right now where I'm just straight up. I'm bleeding red. It isn't that. I just want what's best for my family, what's best for the country, and I don't think you're going to get that out of Kamala Harris right now.
And Kenny, right? And here's the thing: you said, do you expect, or do black people expect Obama to come in and reverse 400 years of systemic bullshit against black people? That's crazy to even imagine. No, we don't. Especially when you have other politicians who are going to shut down anything he tries. The argument that a lot of people have, some black people, some of the scholarly black people, are saying he didn't even try anything. It's one thing to say, well, no matter what he does, they're going to shut it down. It's another thing to say he tried to do it and they shut him down. And the argument is he tried nothing, but the things that he tried for others somehow went through or got shut down. But at least he tried for them. But for us, he tried nothing, particularly for us. And then when you compare that record to Trump's record, just we could pick. It's not a lot. You know, we don't need to get into prison reform or what he did for the I forget what they call the phrase.
First Step Act.
The First Step Act. That was for prison reform. I'm talking about the other one where he did opportunity zones. So just the HBCUs. $500 million to the HBCUs. Blank check. Don't got to pay it back. Give it to him. If you had to say, well, damn, the racist guy gave Bethune-Cookman and Howard University some money, and the brother didn't even try. I can see if he tried, and Mitch McConnell said, nope, I ain't giving it to you. Well, let's do this. The opportunities, nope, I'm not giving it to you. Well, let's do the first step. Nope, I'm not giving it to you. He didn't even try, Kenny. That's the argument. How do you feel about that part? And I get it. He had a lot of going against him. He went in there looking young, came out looking old. They was beating him up. They was kicking him. Even when the cameras turned off, they was dogging him out. They was dogging out his wife. The disrespect was crazy. But when it comes to Black people, particularly, Kenny, how do we round that circle when it comes to him? Not even. It almost felt like, damn, dog, do you see us? Do you know we're here? And that's what a lot of people are arguing.
That when you are biracial or multiracial, you do get to identify yourself in any way in which you choose to identify yourself. Now, she has identified herself as a Black woman. She has also said that her mother is Asian. She didn't just become Black. And so it's unfortunate that Janet Jackson, an icon, admittedly said, I don't know, I haven't been reading the news these past few days. So I don't know if it comes from misinformation. I don't know if it comes from a lack of information. But all I know is that I don't want to give it this much air.
But well, unfortunately, no, well, right? hold on. Yeah, she's got a phone. Janet Jackson is not a political animal. Yeah. She does, right. She's a musician. Her life is doing this, and she's mourning her brother. Mm-hmm. So
that's right.
I am, you know, I sometimes have said stuff. And, you know, I was wrong. But people want you to say something right away. You know, but when people are coming at you saying, hey, you're not paying, you're dumb, you don't know, you don't want to answer people, especially if...
And you're afraid you'll get it wrong in answer.
And it is a pain in the butt, I have to tell you. So sometimes people get it wrong and they're wrong. They made a mistake, they were wrong. It happens. Anybody who says it doesn't happen to every one of us, multiracial or not, we all do it. So, okay, a little grace for the girl. A little grace for the girl, all right?
Whoopi Goldberg, if you run the interference for Janet they must be buddies.
Yeah, let me get
I kind of caught that on the first one. I was like, is Whoopi running interference for Janet? Now, as solid as she is, that must be her girl.
All right, let me get raising. What's going on? You want
Hey, what's up? What's up? You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
you.
Yeah, I just want to clear up some things. I've been listening all night, and first of all, for one thing, Kamala's dad never said that he's Indian or Irish. Well, he said he's Irish, has Irish ancestry, but he never said he's Indian. So I don't know where people keep getting this information from. They need to stop with this misinformation. He never said he's Indian, ever. None of the articles he wrote, he ever mentioned any type of Indian ancestry. So I don't know where Marcus is getting this information from, but it gotta stop. It gotta stop. It's disgusting. For you to actually question a man's blackness and his family heritage is disgusting. That's disgusting.
Smoke?
Absolutely disgusting. If you to actually question a black man's heritage, it's disgusting.
All right, what else you got, Reese? Hit us with all your points. That's number one. Number
two.
I
want Marcus to source up and show where her dad said he's Indian. I want to see the sources now. Don't just say it. Come on, internet platforms and talk. You actually have to source up. And I don't want to hear no Judge Joe Brown, because I know that's where you're getting your sources from, Judge Joe Brown.
He came up here crip walking. He crip walking on you, Mike.
He
All
definitely
niggas
did.
get their sources from is Judge Joe Brown. You don't got no other source but Judge Joe Brown. I want to see the source. I want to see the source where he said himself he's Indian.
So Reese, you got a lot of bass in your voice. You sound like you actually know for a fact that he black. Won't you prove it?
Okay, first of all, in the article he said he's a Negro from the island. He said that in the article.
Reese.
You sound like AI.
Yeah, like what I want you to do is hit the refresh button and come back because you sound like you got a bunch of static right now.
Sorry, I'm outside, but I'm on the phone.
Well, I don't know if you're just away from them. Okay.
Health and welfare check for the flare. You got anything, man? We've been kind of like just crossing over or talking over without letting you chime in. I just want to do a health and welfare check, brother.
Yeah, most definitely. Like Reese, I like to go back with Reese. A lot of Jamaicans don't identify themselves as black. Even though they look black, but they don't identify themselves as black. They don't have the same mentality as a
Can you
black
hear me?
person.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Hold on, let me
Can
see
y'all
if
hear
I.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're just giving like some feedback. Let me see if I can fix anything.
You might hear like some background noise. I'm outside right now. You know, I'm in New York City, so it's kind of noisy.
All right, you're good now. I just fixed it. Go ahead.
Oh, Reese, here you go.
All right, okay.
Here's one example. So, have you ever heard of a Wayback Machine?
No.
So the Wayback Machine, what it does is it categorizes like moments in time according to
Where is that article? Where is that article from? Where is that from?
This is from Wikipedia. So look, originally it said that he was, hold on, here it is. Donald J. Harris, the father of Kamala Harris, he is the Jamaican American economist, professor of emeritus at Stanford University, originally from St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, of Indian Jamaican heritage. This was in 2012. In 2019,
You do realize people can edit Wikipedia, right?
Reese, give him time to get it out and then respond.
No, but people can edit Wikipedia. He never said that himself. Where does he say that himself?
Reese.
Oh my God, Reese, you had him, but you bust your gun too quick. Slow down.
No.
Pause.
So it changed from, you see it say Afro-Jamaican now, right? It previously said Indian Jamaican heritage in 2012. They changed it from this to this. So that's one thing. Then we can go through the genealogy report where I can
Marcus, that was on the way back?
Yeah, that was on the way back.
Ooh, yeah. Do y'all know what the Wayback is for any computer geeks up here? So the Wayback Machine is something that was invented. Like I remember when it first came out, I was like 2002 or something like that, right when the internet was kind of first booming. The Wayback Machine is the internet receipts. It records pretty much within 24 to 48 hours a snapshot of every website that's on the internet and saves its picture. So even if you change it, you can go back to the Wayback Machine to see what that website said originally versus what it says today. I remember using the Wayback Machine on my own website back in the day. re-1.com is what I had. That's my first website. So the Wayback Machine is basically the receipts of the internet. And you got anybody can go back right now. If you guys go to waybackmachine.com, I think is the website, and you type in like black voices or
Hey, if I cut out, my phone died. My phone is low right now, so it might die any second.
Okay.
And you type anything, you can see what a website used to look like. If you want to know what YouTube used to look like before you guys got on it now, go to the Wayback Machine. It'll give you a snapshot of what YouTube used to look like back in 2005 when it first started. All right. Now
Where does he say that himself? Where does Donald Harris say that himself? I don't care about no Wikipedia page. Where does he say that himself? Not no Wikipedia page that anybody can edit. Where does Donald Harris say that himself?
So, all right. So I'm gonna pull the article up. Well, not the article, but the passage from the book. But
I read all the articles he wrote. I read all of them. He never said he had Indian heritage.
In the book,
ever.
In the book, he lists his Irish heritage, and then it's, if I'm paraphrasing, the portion that's supposed to be is of unknown. It's the same thing on the genealogy.
Did he
report.
say Indian?
Now I did. Hold on,
Indian?
Reese. Hold on, Reese. Hold on. I'm gonna throw you a bone. Just relax. Just relax, baby. Just chill out.
That's what pisses me off right there. You're inserting stuff. Don't insert stuff. Don't insert stuff.
No.
You're inserting.
No. Be easy. Be
Pause,
easy.
yo, pause.
Be easy. Now, when what you want to reference, I assume, is when he was talking about his custody hearing, when he said a Negro from the islands, they eat the baby, can't raise the baby properly.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
To say that he's a Negro, I think that was his explanation of the perception that someone may have had of him. Also,
no,
he wasn't.
If he was Indian, that's retarded, Marcus. That's retarded. That's retarded.
Hold on.
Why would an Indian think anybody would think they're a Negro? Use some
because at that time,
common sense. Use common sense, bro. Common sense.
Same way.
Why would an Indian think anybody thinks he's a Negro?
The same
Tell
way.
me some common sense here, man.
Hold on.
The same way.
One at a time.
The Indian woman, Miss Gupta, her mother put Caucasian down because the two classifications primarily used would
because that was in the 60s. Indians were known as Caucasians in the 60s.
It would have been Negro.
There was no category for Indians.
It would have been Negro or Caucasian. So she put down.
No,
Caucasian.
Indians did not classify themselves as Negroes in the 60s. They said they were Caucasian in the 60s, not Negroes.
I'm gonna let you
Reese,
get it all out. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on, real quick, Reese. So the way this works, I don't know if you. He's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he just dropped off right now.
So the other part to this, since Reese gone, my good Afro-Caribbean brother, my brother from another continent,
put your fire out,
my brother from another space. We'll all do love. So Reese, the other thing is, she put in her book that her grandmother, Miss Ira Flanagan, was where she gets this Afro descent from. Then used a picture of a woman that was roughly 60 years old when Kamala was in her 30s, around in the 90s. But the grandmother that she was speaking of died before she was a baby, so it's impossible for that picture to be her grandma. So they're pushing off a picture that she placed in her book that is not her actual grandma. The deception just continues. Candace Owens recently just did a whole thing on it. You can look
serious. So your lineage, as for how your family was raised, she can't identify to, or it's utter lie.
Wait, what'd you say?
The lineage.
Lineage?
Yeah, the lineage.
What say it again?
My mom's real mother didn't raise my mom. My mom was adopted, but not really adopted back in them island days. But she knew two different people, and she called them mom and dad. And those are the people that her kids call grandpapa and mama.
So are you saying that? Okay, let me just be clear on what you're saying. Are you saying that?
I am clear.
No, I'm asking you so I can be clear. I'm sure you're very clear on what you believe. What I'm saying is, if I was raised by two white people and I go back and say I'm visiting my grandparents that are the two white people that raised me, does that now make me a white person?
No. Per what you said, but you identify as to what your lineage is, not your color. What you're doing right there is you started off with Wikipedia, not his words, but you use that to promote your disagreement, which was it makes it fall flat. Then you found something else where you didn't directly hear him say it. It could have been someone authoring it. You don't know if he penned it. You're not pushing that to a detail, but you're making him stand on something where you go by feelings and hearsay.
So here's the thing, Kenny. If you look up any literature in relation to me or anybody in my family, the only thing you're gonna find is Black American, maybe Negro, and if you go far enough back, it might be Chickasaw, something similar to that. Now, what they don't have is a misinterpretation that I'm a Caucasian man. Caucasian is listed nowhere on my birth certificate. It's listed no on the birth certificate of anybody I'm related to. And The one thing that's not on that birth certificate is Negro. I'm speaking to somebody that descends from a Negro tribe. It's not divisive. It's not hateful. It's not angry to say, hey, this is my tribe. We can love your tribe too, but you can't immigrate and say that I'm part of the tribe now. It doesn't work.
So where, Mike, I'm getting you right there. So where did you have documentation that he, her father, or Kamala penned those things, or were they written about them? Because Wikipedia is one of the most dishonest places you can go for accurate information.
So
but that was the first thing you cited when you came back, as for giving your return on what Anderson just said.
Right. So he asked me for what my sources would be, right? And I listed that.
So you brought
up are you gonna hear me?
source.
Are you gonna hear me?
No, he didn't ask you for your source. He asked to show him where her father said he was Indian.
Right. Okay. Right. I apologize. I'm wrong. Shan, right. So I pulled up something from 2012 prior to this push for her to be a black woman, where it said he was of a different descent. Then around 2019, around
right,
the time is the writing of that book, something was pushed.
I got it, but that's not what he didn't ask you to find. He didn't ask you to find a source of some writing by some author, he asked you to find where the father said that he is Indian. And your answer should have been, I don't know. I don't know if he ever said that. I heard that somewhere else. And then that would have been into it. But you start bringing up other stuff that didn't answer Reese's question directly. Simply put, you don't know that he ever said that. You have no idea that he ever said that. And you said it almost kind of like as a statement of fact when you first brought it up hours ago. But then when Reese challenged you on it, you were like, oh, well, let me bring up this article that I found from back in the day and put two and two together and all of that. It should have just been, you know what? I don't know that he really said that.
That's fair. But I asked the second question too, didn't I? Show me where he said that he was a Negro.
Well, yeah, that's when you answer the question with a question. He had asked you, and then you said, well, you know what? Show me where he is. That was almost kind of passive aggressive. You should have just answered his shit first. You didn't answer his first. You answered his question with a question.
My memory not that good, so I believe that that's what happened.
So
but I will say that in a time
we're gonna do that, Marcus.
I'm not saying he wrong. I said I believe that that's what happened, because we get into the weeds of the conversation. My premise is still the same. It has not changed. I still believe the exact same thing. And if you look at the birth certificate, it says Jamaican and Caucasian. Those things do not appear on my birth certificate anywhere. Nowhere. And Jamaican does not automatically equate to black, because they're Chinese Jamaicans, they're Caucasian Jamaicans, they're Indo-Jamaicans.
Okay, go. Okay, throw in Arawak as well. You're correct. She is not black. But what you used to defend your argument was falsehoods. That's where it fell flat. It took Shannon's clear voice for you to say that I wasn't making sense, and he reiterated the point in a different way where you could consume, or you chose to consume, and then you conceded.
Hey, Kenny, you just said that you don't believe Kamala's or Kamala, whatever. She's black. She's not black.
She's not black.
All right, well, we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Wait.
So how do you pronounce her name? Like, because I think I've been getting it wrong.
Kamala. Yeah, it's like Pamela with an R instead of S. No, so think of the word, think of the name Pamela.
Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
She said it. I made it. I made it.
Just two syllables.
Yeah, Kamala. Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, go ahead.
Yeah, my bad.
I was just gonna switch it up real quick. I know we wound it down. I just wanted to squeeze this one little last time.
Yes, sir.
Right. Get your man at the gutter, Trev. I said topic.
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about?
So disgusting.
What are you talking about?
Who the f this? Who is this?
This is Rob.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Rob?
Nice to
What are
meet
you
you.
doing with Rob?
What are you doing? Recording this?
Absolutely.
For what?
What are you doing? She's married, you know.
No, she's actually getting divorced.
I can't fucking believe you right now. I can't believe you.
Wow, this is a great scene.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And this is, you should come out and apologize.
All right, so that was her son.
JR, you took a hard left turn. He took us right out of politics. He snatched us right out of White House, y'all.
Man, I don't think that was a skit.
That was a Muslim guy that was on Piers Brosnan challenging him about the Palestine, the things that are happening over in Palestine. And
Piers
he also
Brosnan
have
or
debates.
Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan, pardon me. Piers Morgan, he was
Like
on the
actor?
show. No. That's actually one of those Muslim guys that go real hard and, challenge like Hasid's on the street over there overseas and stuff. And I don't know where JR found that, but what would you tell him? Knuckle up.
JR, give me the history on that video that you just played. So the guy walked in. What happened?
Okay, so that's her son. Yeah, and her son walked in.
That's her son, her own son.
And caught her mom cheating. I'm gonna go ahead.
That's the son?
Yeah, here we go.
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about?
So disgusting.
What are you talking about?
Who the f this? Who is this?
Rob?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Rob?
Nice to
What are
meet
you
you.
doing with Rob?
What are you doing? Recording this?
Absolutely.
For what?
What are you doing? She's married, you know.
No, she's actually getting divorced.
I can't fucking believe you right now. I can't believe you.
Wow, this is a great scene.
You should be ashamed of yourself. And this is, you should come out and apologize.
I get his
I don't
point
know,
of view.
First of all, it looked kind of fake because she said hi too fast. But if it's real, he goes, he's married, and he said, I'm actually getting a divorce. So what's the problem? Sons don't want their moms to have anyways, go ahead.
That man is addressing the conversation from the eyes of a staunch Muslim man that would prefer have that woman stoned if she ever disrespected the relationship. He's one of them. He's a ultra radical. I could point you to articles where you see him going at Piers Morgan, you see him go at the Hasids in like the park or street, and so on and so forth. He's one of them. We all go to Allah. He's right on that line.
So that's the guy who's the soon to be ex-husband, Kenny. That's what you're saying?
No. As for his response to what he saw.
Oh, okay.
Those men, them staunch.
He's talking about he's talking about the dude that respond that reacted.
Yeah. Everybody's at a hush.
No, my thing is, it's a child's supposed to stay in the child's place. Is that what this is? I mean, it sounds like what I'm seeing is this dude mom's is exercising her options before the divorce is final. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, when I looked at it, it seemed like the child didn't know that a divorce was even happening. And so when he walked in, he was just kind of quite surprised. I don't know what made him walk in, but he just was thrown off the fact that he was seeing his mother with another man. And I don't think he knows anything that's going on as far as a divorce inside the house.
Oh, so they left the children out of the loop.
Yeah, that's awkward as hell. And they had to be home, right? They didn't even look like an out setting. Were they home?
No,
bro,
they were out.
They were out, bro. Because bro had socks on when
They're
he
in a bar.
walked over to him.
They look like a sports bar.
Yeah, they're in a bar. That's why I think it's
That's
fake.
Oh,
Look
that
how
was the
fast.
socks.
Watch.
Okay.
Look how fast she
Never
notices.
mind. I thought that was socks. Never mind. No, he got some shoes.
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about?
We got it.
What are you talking about?
Who the f this? Who is this?
Rob?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Rob?
Nice to
What are
meet
you doing with Rob?
What are you doing? Recording this?
Absolutely.
For what?
What are you doing? She's married, you know.
No, she's actually getting divorced.
I can't fucking believe you right now. I can't believe you.
She moving fast, ain't she?
Hold on, I'm not sure if it's
Yeah, but we don't know how long it's been. They've been going through the thing or whatever. They could have been, just holding off for quite a while.
Yeah,
Kids older now. They like, all right, well.
I just think it's a stupid video. I mean, you would think that he walked into a motel room or something. I mean, they had Chili's at the bar. Having a conversation.
They're not even hugged up or nothing. They just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
JR flopped on the top. It took me a whole hour to clip
Marcus,
this
when you
up.
eating the kids' fruit roll-ups, turn the camera off. You look crazy.
Yeah, like y'all don't appreciate the time I put in to goddamn get this video.
No. I just put this on the back end. I was gonna do it for icebreaker, but I mean, when I looked at it, the guy that was sitting there, like I think he knew exactly who the son was, but he was just probably caught off guard too. He don't know what he was gonna say. I mean, this is this woman's son standing right here, and so I think he just had to take a moment to process as far as what he was gonna say. He knew what was going on.
Like, what would y'all
bro,
do in that
bro
position?
was unbothered. He was unbothered.
He was stoic, right?
A little bit.
I think he was in shock and he didn't really know what to say.
Nah, he was like Bing Rames and Baby Boy. He was ready to.
I was waiting on him to say, "Look, babe, let's just go to the hotel. I want my dick sucked."
God damn, I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Who the f this? Who is this?
They not even drinking alcohol. She got like a glass of water.
What are you doing with Rob?
What are you doing? Recording this?
Absolutely.
For what?
What are you doing? She's married, you know.
No, she's actually getting divorced.
I can't fucking believe you right now. I can't believe you.
Wow, this is a great scene.
You should be
Look, if I was the dude, I would have been like, "What do you want? PS5 or something?" I got you. Your dad didn't get it for you. I got you. Welcome to the family, brother.
It's crazy how that young boy sound like McLovin off of what's that? Super Bad.
Super Bad. Damn shame.
We get to these super chats, man. Chanel, what's going on? Chanel says all y'all look good. It's F on this panel tonight.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. She was killing it on the show. We seen you doing
Notice
your
they only
thing.
make comments like that when I'm on the show.
BZ $5 says, I want to see what she put on the census. If she didn't even fill it out, she black. Maybe Pool Roast Reactions tonight says, search for White House fact sheets, blacks. This lists all the things Biden Harris have done for black people. Please read, folks. We sound crazy out here without facts. Data Pool Roast Reactions again. $2 says, anybody can update Wikipedia. Champ Talk Reactions 499 says HBCUs receive around $2.4 billion annually under the Obama Just Add Facts Noob. And lastly, the Dayton Pool Roast Reactions $10 says Daddy look black, claim black. Kamala can be green, purple, or orange. She's still better than two yahoos on the other side. Any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, so what is my final thoughts? Now that we didn't took away the color being the catalyst to vote, is who's voting for Kamala? I'm sorry. What is the number one? I don't want to carry that. What's the number one reason to vote for her? Like, how would you sell her? This is why I'm voting for her. And this is why you should too.
Off of the rip, when she started laying out certain things that she wished to put in place, and your man said he got a concept, he went downhill from that point. He was easily baited into going to his lowest forms as talking from those people of my diaspora as for eating dogs and cats, and nothing that he could put on the table that was viable moving the country forward progressively. But guess what? My man with the hockey, I say he's about 6'8". You know, he likes Wikipedia. Maybe he could find something in there that forwards Trump's, plan. Like he also had one when he was bashing Obamacare. He had 8 years to do something about it and speak to the necessary people. Nothing was done. But, it is what it is. As most black people say when they ain't got nowhere else to go.
All right. We'll go ahead and close this one on out, fellas. I want to thank everybody for their perspective. I know we could have went on.
You ain't let it. I was gonna say the reason I would vote for Kamala.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So when I look at little babies in the stomach of mothers, and I think, maybe this will make her life difficult, and that baby doesn't deserve to live, then I'm gonna vote for Kamala. When I see boys and they want to transition to be girls, and I want to not stop that from happening, and I want to make sure they have access to be able to transition into transgenders, then I'm gonna vote for Kamala. When I want to see the Freedmen Bank be opened up for every other nationality when it was historically set up for descendants of slaves, then I'm gonna vote for Kamala. When I want to get $1 billion in the federal budget, in the local budget in deficit, because we provided assistance to migrants in Chicago without servicing the citizens first, then I'm gonna vote for Kamala. All of those things, if those are things I believe in, is beneficial, then I'm gonna vote for her.
Well, damn. So basically, you just ran down why I shouldn't vote if I'm against those things.
I just told you those would be the reasons that I would vote.
I can't see anybody who would be happy with what.
Damn, is she really on shit like that? Kenny?
The name of the bus is the Reproduction Freedom Tour. They got drive up baby deletions, bro.
Kenny, this can't be true, right? Why are you asking me, Darwin? Why don't you ask the man to show you the facts as for where he gets his information from so he can source it? He's yet to be able to be very good at that tonight. So I'll just stick with that. Let's be consistent with that.
JR, I heard, I was in the kitchen, but I heard it. Was there a super chat? Somebody said noop. Somebody was talking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody threw up your thing. Yeah, your banner.
What do you say? HBCUs received around $2.4 billion annually under Obama. Just add facts. No, it wasn't $2.4 billion. Under Obama, he gave around $4 billion. The administration over the course of 8 years, it wasn't $2.4 billion a year. That would be damn near $16 billion, over $16 billion over the course of his administration. A lot of people get it mixed up. HBCUs get federal funding already. They already get federal funding, grant money, loans. That federal student loans that's gone to Black students is considered HBCU federal funding. They've always, Bush was giving federal funding to the HBCUs. Everybody's giving federal funding to HBCUs. In fact, but remember this, when Obama first got in office, President Bush had earmarked about $85 billion that was supposed to get increased to the federal funding for the HBCUs, and Obama didn't do it. This isn't about so much do the federal government give HBCUs money. Of course they do. They get billions of dollars already. That's not the argument. So when people say, oh, wait a minute, the government, this president gave this many billions they was already getting that. That's not what we're talking about. The $500 million that I'm talking about, I think it was a little more than that, but just say the $500 million that Trump gave was on top of what they already got. Now, to the credit, or depending on how you look at it, to the pandering of what Biden has done just last week, him and Harris said that they're gonna give an additional something billion to
16.
HBCU.
It was
What
16.
was it?
It was 16.
Yeah.
They stand up for that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
So they're giving billion, like, and I think that was just. I think the 16 billion was the one that they announced some months ago, like in March, and now they added another like $1 or $2 billion on top of that. That's cool. I'm with that. I like it. That's wonderful. But we wasn't talking about the Biden administration. In addition to that, they're doing it this year. The last year, are they do? Is that a response to what Trump had did? I mean, that's what I mean. It's all that's why I don't trust none of them, man. I don't trust the Democrats. I don't trust the Republicans. They all crooks, but we got to look at the facts and we got to see how people position stuff. Okay, so the Biden administration is giving all this extra money, yeah, but they're doing it on the last year out and in 2024, and suddenly it's this dollars, and it's over the course of what, 10 years or something like that. So it just depends on how you look at it. Well, what I was discussing was the Obama administration doing what for Black people, particularly that got shut down by McConnell and the rest of the politicians that didn't want him to accomplish anything. And I simply said, what did he try? What did he try? So don't bring up I'm assuming this is my fraternity brother. What the billions of dollars that the federal government was already earmarked from previous presidents given to HBCUs because they already get federal funding. I'm talking about what did you do specifically to help people advance what they were already above and beyond, is what we say in the military. Where did any president go above and beyond for Black people, particularly a protected class, like they've done for other protected classes? And that's where we have to kind of measure who's for us and who's not with us, or who they not with us, or they're not, if you in these streets, then really be in these streets. That's all.
So Kenny, one more thing. I was waiting on you to make this argument all day, but you didn't. So I'm gonna make it for you because I feel it's worth being said to the benefit of Harris Biden. So today, a Black man was executed for a crime that he more than likely did not commit. The DNA evidence exonerated him.
Rest in peace, Julius Williams.
Yeah. The Supreme Court that could have voted to stop it, the Democratic people voted against it, and all those Republicans voted to continue with it. That would have been a real solid case for you.
Okay, so you wanted to throw me a bone as for why it's crooked and they didn't do the right thing and they didn't care to?
I'm saying they did the right thing.
They did the right thing as for putting
the Democratic Supreme Court judges did the right thing, is what I'm saying. I'm throwing you a bone as far as something positive.
That's what I just said. Maybe I'm speaking Spanish. Yeah, I got that part. But you could thank Trump for the ones that didn't.
Bruh, I'm literally saying that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put extra mayo on it since you brought it up. You shouldn't have ate all that candy.
You ain't throwing me no bone. You can't give me what I already got.
What, get the fuck out of here.
Marcus,
get the fuck out of here. He ain't even make that argument.
Marcus,
he was getting cooked all night on this, and he ain't even make that argument. I just tried to give him a freebie, and he acting cooked on it. All right,
that's
fine.
what you get.
All right, let me reverse it.
I getting cooked?
Obama messed up because he should have appointed a judge so they wasn't in that position.
Okay, so
that?
how was I?
He got cooked.
So I got one question for you,
didn't
Marcus. Marcus, I got one question for you. How was I getting cooked? And the things that you were referring to as for making your points valid were found to be false, and things
they weren't found to be false. None of that was found to be false.
Wait. Wikipedia is the Holy Grail.
None of that was found to be false, Kenny.
It wasn't found to be false as for the points you were trying to make, and they were actually chopped down because you couldn't prove that was what he said. You were using someone else's words to solidify your point. You eat too much candy. That's a problem.
They weren't found to be false.
Popcorn
and I gave you look.
Take your hat off. Let me see what's under there.
I got hair. What you mean?
Now I want to see that hockey. I want to see that rooster.
I got hair.
Pause, bro. Pause.
Everything's a pause. Yo, you's a grown man, wife, and kids. Grow up. Wear your mom jeans. Go to Walmart. Do some shopping. What's wrong
I'm just
with you?
saying, bro. You said a lot of pause stuff on it.
I know you got mom jeans and you drive a truck.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Just
Put on
saying.
that suit. I give my props to my brother. You look real intelligent, but then you put on the mom jeans when you take off the suit.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just trying to help you out, bro. You got a lot of pause. Telling another man you want to see his rooster, bro. Like, yo, cock-a-doodle-doo, nigga.
That's bullshit.
I'm gonna let that one die off. Good try.
I don't know. You had one about you had. I ain't gonna even repeat it.
Perfect. Exactly.
He got his ass cooked.
By who?
That wasn't me. That was JR. Sound effect.
He got his ass roll up.
He got cooked.
Yo, you know what's gonna be crazy? I'm
What?
not wishing this on Marcus. Please don't do a Dame Dash one day. You be talking to him, teeth fall right out. Look how he eat. You all right? Somebody gonna take that?
Why you talking? Yo, what? Hold on, wait.
What's
what?
going on?
Yeah.
Yo, he
You
said his
slap-
teeth is gonna
How
fall
are you
out.
slapping yourself in the face eating?
You may not understand this because I'm so large. Pause.
Oh,
but
pause.
My hands is so big that me eating small things look like I'm slapping myself in the face because my hands are the size of a.
Man, you ain't got to do that. Just get you a fork or something.
To eat popcorn, Kenny?
Yeah, do something.
Okay.
You out here
What kind of
got
popcorn you
teeth
eat?
and looking at you look crazy. Eating your kids' snacks.
I'm definitely eating a snack.
It's a tall man snack.
Wait, so what's those? That's two different black men in two different states with the same snack. So what's so special about
what's up
that?
with that shit?
Tall man
Did
snack.
Did you pass him one through the screen or something?
Hey, but look, mine's is bigger.
Smart food party size.
Pause.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Marcus 6'8". You know what they say about tall people.
Hey, you
They
this a
look at
regular
my
size
size. Girls be looking at my shoes like, oh, you got some big feet.
You see?
But then when they see Kenny size 6,
See, clout. I try to give you, and you just got to chime in with your lisp.
Damn, Marcus, you make that can look like a shot glass.
That's what I'm saying.
Yo,
Everything
wow.
gonna look extra
Loud.
small.
Pause, yo.
All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see y'all next week.
Good show.
You won't pause too many.
Yeah, that one right there was too much, I guess. We had JR laughing today. He usually don't laugh.
Yeah, he was dying laughing. A lot.